Travelers on the Omnibus occasionally touches on mature subject matter with mature language. As such, the audience discretion is advised. Keep going.
Magic the Gathering is like a pie. It's one game, but some people want like a bigger slice of it, and some people want a smaller slice of it. Right. Mm-hmm. So for Magic specifically, you can go into talking about tournament play. You have people that just like playing one format sometimes. Like Modern is a semi-eternal format that adds new cards every time a set comes out. You have Legacy, which is an eternal format, which, if there's any cards that are playable that come out in a standard set, they will add cards to that format. Then you have the Commander product, which at first was considered a casual format that they didn't even, well, it initially wasn't even a format, technically isn't a format to Wizards, even though it's their biggest sealed product seller. Now, anyway, which that's been like a 10-year long journey for that to become a thing, to the point of where now there's so much product coming out that the market is flooded to the point of where people can't keep up, that just like the one thing. Like if I just like Modern or I like just Legacy, I can't keep up with even those eternal formats because there's a set out every 3 months. Just for Standard, there's a set out every 3 to 4 months. So there's usually at least 1 to 2 cards that are playable in like Pioneer or Modern, and then maybe once or twice a year there's a card playable for Legacy. That is enough for those Eternal formats to be warped by those new cards, and since there are new cards coming out all the time. Also, by the way, in case you didn't know, Commander cards are Legacy playable. In fact, some Commander cards years back warped Legacy as a format because of that whole thing happening. And so I'm worried that the same thing is going to happen to Lorcana on a smaller scale right now because, if they start printing more and more sets with no set designs or anything like that, no icons to tell you exactly what printing, first edition, second edition, third edition, or whatever, that degrades the value of the singles, and there's no MSRP, or at least it doesn't seem to be.
There's an MSRP. It's just nobody's
adhering to it.
Nobody adheres to it. Everybody is like $100 more than the MSRP.
So just for anybody listening in, so the reason why this rant started is because Lorcana's new set's coming out, and one of the LGSs that we frequent is going to be charging $10 a pack. And the booster boxes are how much going?
$240.
$240.
Which is 20. Which is 20.
Another LGS is selling for $9 a pack and $200 for a booster box.
This, like Brady said earlier before we started recording, cannot sustain itself.
No, because basically you're when you price them like that, you are pricing them. The only people who are getting them are going to be the scalpers.
Yeah. So
and like Lorcana, the prices are on singles are going to be inflated. And I actually like that between the second wave and the first wave of printing, there was no difference because it made the price of singles drop very, very much. Like I said before we got on here, I think it's safe to say $250 and you can get one of every card of the first set. Right. Just buying singles, and I think if I did the math, it would even be less than that.
Another problem Lorcana has is like Lorcana's also like a pie, right?
Yeah.
But unlike Magic, Lorcana's pie is Disney collectors, gamers that want to play the game, and the whale scalpers that are buying the product out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like buying product in bulk and like tripling the
price. Which is driving demand for the product. But the problem is it's a false demand. You know, it's not an actual demand.
Well, go back to this past Gen Con when
people were punching each other in the face.
People were literally getting into fistfights just to get their hands on the product.
Well, like people were also like camping out literally at Gen Con the night before to get in line to get product.
They only had, I think, from the rumor mill that I heard, they only had about like 1,500 products. Not even like sealed boxes either.
Yeah.
We're talking like intro packs and things like that. Booster packs even. They had enough for like 1,500 people, maybe a few more, maybe a few less or whatever.
Yeah.
To the point where people were opening cards and selling them in the line because of the scarcity of the product. Gen Con, over the past like 5 years minus COVID, usually has a pretty good audience ticketed, right? Like they have like the amount of people that go to Gen Con is usually somewhere around like 20,000 people, maybe.
It's in the tens of thousands.
Something
It had
like
to move from Geneva Falls to Indianapolis just to deal with the people.
So you had like 20,000 people, 1,500. That's a low ball margin there.
Yeah, and some of that could be that the printing just wasn't done yet because the game, like there was quite some time between Gen Con and when the game was released.
That's understandable.
But again, I don't know. It's this like.
My concern is the opposite of Brady's, and to me is a worse thing, is what if this is sustainable? What if
I don't think in today's economy that this is sustainable. Like people, there's only so much money to go around.
Humor me for 1 minute. If this is sustainable, if Ravensburger or Asmodee, whoever is pulling the strings behind this puppet, looks at this and goes, "Oh, cool. No, keep that up. As long as the orders on this side are good." The scary thing there is that's not going to be a slow slide. That's going to be a hard fucking crash.
Yeah. The problem Lorcana has that Magic doesn't have, depending, even though Wizards typically doesn't run a lot of their own tournaments anymore, is that in order to get like a tournament base going, that is where the issue is going to be, where availability of the cards and things of that nature. Because if you have like a tournament base happening where it's like every like 3 or 4 months we have a big tournament, half the people can't play because they can't get a hold of the cards because there's been a false increase in card price because this one guy bought 10,000 booster boxes in the north part of America, and now nobody over there can fucking get it or whatever. That's another issue that they don't even have a tournament player base yet because for one, the game is new, and secondly, product is scarce.
Yeah, you can't. I've
Brady,
attempted to go to
yes,
I've attempted to go to 2 fucking tournaments.
You've only had
having
one
a constructed
opponent.
deck,
and you were 50% of the clientele for both of those tournaments.
Both times. One time it slowly like went down because the people because if one person can get their hands on product and can get all the good cards to make a good deck, and everybody else is just kind of putting together what they want, it's not going to be fun. And
one thing I experienced, this makes me angry, but I understand it. That's what I'm going to start by saying before I say what, because I've already talked about this briefly when we were talking about it right after it happened. I was in the sealed tournament here in this shop, and there was like 5 people signed up. Well, 9 people signed up. 5 people ended up playing. Yeah. Because 4 people bought their product, opened their product in the store, even though they signed up for the tournament and left. You can't stop people from doing that. And I understand that it angers some people that they didn't play it through. But if that was the only way they could buy product, I don't blame them for it. It still makes me angry, but I don't blame them for it. That's going to happen a lot more for people who just want to have the product.
You're blaming the system and not the players.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The system in place.
Yeah, it's like I was saying before, like this is not going to be able to go on, and it sucks because it's a fun game, at least for right now until and I think this is going to stay this way until like there's an official digital version of it. There is Pixelborn. I can just play it on Pixelborn.
Right.
I like playing it in person.
Yeah.
I have spent a lot of time and money building a deck that I really like, that I would like to play, and I would like to get more cards to change around because I've seen some really interesting stuff with this new stuff. But I guess until until things either die or get better, because like I can spend $240 on something else right now.
No, I agree.
So welcome to our first ever in media res Travelers on the Omnibus, a field trip through nerd and pop culture.
I was wondering how you were going to do that.
Yeah, there we go. No, I thought there was a lot of passion behind that one. I said, let's get that on tape or digital or whatever you want to call it. I'm James McCarthy.
I'm Ethan Skinner.
I'm Jody Kite.
I'm Brady Davis.
Brady, keep up the fire. What you been up to?
So this past weekend, I went and saw some relatives in Brookhaven, Mississippi. They're all older ladies. And spend some time with them. I don't get to see them very often. They're like the family on my dad's side. They're like pretty much the only family on that side left. And while I was there, I had Googled, and it turns out there was a board/card game shop in Brookhaven. I'm not gonna shout out. I'm not gonna say the name because I went there and it was very underwhelming. I don't want to just shit talk somebody because for one, it just wasn't what I was looking to like, hey, maybe I can find some cool board games, or maybe, I can, fingers crossed they might have Lorcana. I knew it probably wasn't going to happen, but maybe that.
There's always the possibility.
There's always the possibility, but it didn't seem like they had basically like a bookshelf of board games, and apparently they were trying to get rid of them because they were all 50% off, buy two, get one free. And they didn't have anything that I was super interested in. They had a section of 40K and with a tiny splash of Age of Sigmar. So apparently that's something that gets played there. But it didn't look like anybody was playing. It basically just felt like it was a place where like people came and played Magic. Like they had a lot of Magic singles and product with Magic and stuff like that, and a few other card games. I felt like mostly a card game place where people just kind of came and hung out, and then they had tournaments and stuff like that.
Like card shop with the splash of like tabletops.
I don't even think. I think the tabletops is just there. Like it was literally like just a small, like that bookshelf like we have in the studio.
I see.
And they weren't even like tightly packed. They were all like
kind of loose.
They were all like facing and like loose in there. So it wasn't even like full. And then they had some like just a small, like maybe 10 D&D books together. So it seems like that wasn't like a big thing.
Come to Brookhaven for a splash of Warhammer.
Just a splash of AOS.
But just a splash of AOS.
They had actually one of those, that black metal display. Like they had one of those, and it was pretty full of 40K stuff. They didn't have a whole lot, but they had like one of them. Nothing that I don't need anything 40K or Age of Sigmar right now.
Did they have anything for the Gobos? Did they have any Gobbo stuff?
No, no. They had Sentinels from Lumineth. That was the only Age of Sigmar thing that they had.
You know what that store sounds like?
They had the bows.
Yeah,
that's like the most important part of their army.
Yeah, that was the only thing that they had for Age of Sigmar. Everything else was 40K.
It sounds like a store like that a couple of guys opened just to have a place to play.
Sort of, kind of,
yeah.
They had some
on a smaller scale.
They had some old comic books that felt like somebody just kind of
left them there.
Why
or
does
something.
that happen?
Yeah,
what, like game stores that don't do comics?
Yeah,
every so often,
just
for like
acquire
a year.
them.
Here's some comic books. It's like, what the hell?
And they were all and they weren't stuff that they bought new from like a distributor. They were just like, it seemed like somebody sold them a collection or something. I guess I don't know. I didn't stay and talk to anybody because I am not a sociable person. If I'm in a new place, I like to be left alone. And so they asked if I needed help, and I said no. And then I looked around for a little while before I was like, okay, I think I've been here long enough that it's not super awkward, and also not too long to where it's also super awkward. So I'm gonna leave.
I appreciate stores that will come and say, hey, find everything okay? Cool. And then leave you the fuck alone.
Well, they kind of had to, because like I walk in and like there's the counter, and like that's the only area of like shopping stuff is right there around the counter. But
even then, like a shop, another local shop here, not McNarb's, but a local shop actually lost me as a customer because they kept asking me, hey, do you need it's like,
once
you just
enough,
asked me 5 minutes ago.
Once is enough,
if you could please stop asking me. And then the same person, I've got stuff in hand.
Right.
And it was like, hey, I see you like that. Have you seen that? Yes, I've been here half an hour.
Yeah, I'm not trying to buy a car, bro.
You know what? I'm sorry, man. Like, what are you doing? You lost a sale, man.
I'm putting my stuff back, bro.
I appreciate, but I don't appreciate anymore.
Your enthusiasm turned me off.
Yeah, and like I said, it felt like it was just kind of a place where
people just hung out.
Yeah, which is fine. But I don't know anybody in that town, so I'm not going to hang out. And then, later that night, well, no, it was the next day. My family had a Rummy Cub, and we played that, and it's not a bad game.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Of the Rummy games, it is probably the best one.
That's good.
And I won both times, and then they decided they didn't want to play.
Yeah.
There you go.
So besides that, I've watched a couple of movies that I hadn't seen before, but they are older movies. One, since later we are talking about the Big Lebowski, I watched another Coen Brothers movie that has slipped by me. Raising Arizona.
Oh, okay.
This is a Coen Brothers movie that is starring Nicolas Cage.
Yep.
And
that should be like 2 check marks.
And he's a young Nicolas Cage.
That's a low energy Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, he's playing a Nicolas Cage, but a low energy Nicolas Cage. So it's interesting.
Which is a high energy human being.
That's true.
He's a guy who's in and out of jail, and he falls in love with the prison guard who's taking his picture every single time.
Is that Rosanna Arquette?
Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter.
We talked about this so we mentioned, because me and Jody ride into the
We're talking about like how Coen Brothers, like how
spoilers.
Some movies,
but we were talking about raising. We were talking about Raising Arizona.
Funny enough, I watched another movie with Holly Hunter and
the piano
and no,
please God no.
Yeah, because we mentioned the piano. It's like if that's we're
I've been wanting to watch that movie.
Cherry 3000.
No, Holly Hunter and Rosanna Arquette that I'll talk about later.
Okay,
this is as much hair I've ever seen on Nicolas Cage's head.
Yeah, he had a lot of hair.
He probably still had, and it was probably still a toupee.
Right.
But, he's in and out of jail. He falls in love with the prison guard, Holly Hunter, and gives up his life of crime because of her. And then they find out they can't have babies.
Yep.
Holly Hunter is barren.
Yep.
And so then they hear about this rich family who has like 7
a lot
kids,
of babies,
and Holly Hunter's like, I want a baby, and he's like, okay, I'll go get you a baby, and then they go steal a baby.
They have so many, they won't be able to know it's gone.
Yeah. They'll not even. They have more than they can handle.
Rich people can't count.
Yeah.
Okay, so the police guard endorses the theft of a baby.
Yeah, that's how bad she wants a baby.
It's
Gotcha.
not. No. She didn't endorse it. She demanded it.
Yeah.
Absolutely demanded it. Yeah. So, and then they have to deal with all the fallout from that, and normal Coen Brothers absurdity ensues. John Goodman and another guy who I cannot remember his name. They were jailmates with Nicolas Cage's character. They break out of jail and they come by. Different people end up with the baby. Different people end up wanting the baby.
That baby gets around.
Yeah, that baby gets passed around. The baby several times almost gets run over.
The fucking family hires a bounty hunter to go get the baby, right?
There's a bounty hunter. No, they don't hire him. He just shows up and says,
that's right.
I'm getting the baby. You can pay me for him or not.
Yeah.
It's a batshit crazy
It's a wild
movie.
ride.
That's some straight up capitalism.
It is absolutely absurd. Which is, when it comes to, and we'll talk about this more later, when it comes to comedies, that's kind of how the surreality
right,
and absurdity kind of always comes across in Coen Brothers comedies.
We are very wavelength. Wait, I would say let me say this. This will be a small spoiler for the larger discussion later. Surreality crosses over nearly everything the Coen Brothers do.
Yes, but it's all. But if it's absurd, if it's tinged with that absurdity, it's comedy.
Yeah.
If it's tinged with ironically nihilism, it's a drama.
right.
And then you get them combined to both in a movie called The Big Lebowski.
Yeah. Sometimes it's scaled down more than others.
Yeah. So I watched that, and that's a good movie. For I love Coen Brothers, and some of their movies.
That movie
have just-
also fits into this movie is definitely 80s.
Oh yeah,
It's 87.
Fuck.
It's still 80s. Like
It is a grimy movie.
Yeah.
It is a grimy movie.
it's shot mostly in the desert.
Yeah.
So-
yeah. So there's that, and then I watched again because I've been playing Lorcana, and some of my favorite cards in this set are cards from this movie, and that is Lilo and Stitch.
Okay.
I have never watched Lilo and Stitch before because it was in that weird
Time period. Yeah.
where
That's early 2000s, right?
while I still liked Disney movies, I wasn't like super into
Right.
watching every single one that came out, and they
Right.
also had a few duds in there. There was some shit like Home on the Range, which is a god awful movie. So it just kind of passed me by, and I never went back and watched it. I knew all about it because you saw it on commercials and all kinds of shit. And
Oh yeah, it was like in Taco Bell or one of those places.
And
had
then
a
there were like 8
cross-promotion.
sequels of it, so you were constantly inundated with it. But I never went back and watched it. And I watched it, and it's a pretty good movie. It's pretty heartwarming. It's like there's not much for me to say. Like it's just a fun, good night.
That's also another one that was like I haven't watched, so I got to go back
Yeah.
and watch that one too. There's a handful of those that I got to go back and
I was
watch.
like, I haven't watched. I'm going back and watching all these Disney movies. This is one that I haven't watched, so let me watch.
That's
that.
one good thing about Heaven Plus. It's just like, you know what, I haven't seen this. Let me watch that. Like I'd never seen the Forever and a Day. I'd never seen The Rescuers. So I've seen clips of it.
Oh,
but
that was one that I watched,
and I went back and I watched that. I'm like, man, the animation's so good. Like that Don Bluth style, even if he wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Like it's still like, I love that style of animation.
He might have ended up being on that because he was a Disney animator before.
He was, but he wasn't always like, I was looking into it one time when we had our episode about Don Bluth, and like most of the stuff he worked on, like you could see that he was, if nothing else, he was definitely in charge of character design,
Yeah.
and so forth. But yeah.
Yeah. And then I rewatched The Great Mouse Detective, which is another pretty good movie.
I've seen it, but it's been so long.
You got a really good one of the best villains, Ratigan, who is basically Moriarty. He is voiced by Vincent Price, which is a absolutely perfect.
The mouse detective. His name's Basil.
Basil,
right?
yeah.
Basil.
Okay.
Basil of Baker Street.
So the reason why that connects is one of the earliest actors to do Sherlock Holmes.
Basil
for Hollywood was
Rathbone.
Basil Rathbone.
Yeah, I think that's why they did that. Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. Yeah.
There you go. Cool beans. Age Before Beauty. Jody, take it away.
Oh, okay. So I had no idea where he was going with that,
there you
but so I watched the movie. Actually, I ordered a book, and I'll have to look it up on my Amazon to remember what it was, how it's pronounced. But I watched a movie. Besides the movie we watched, this week for the show later, called Loving Picasso. Have you heard about that one, Brady?
Heard of it.
So I watched it. I watched it on AMC Plus because I believe it's on Sundance, the Sundance app. So if you either have just Sundance or if you have AMC Plus, you can watch it.
If you have the Sundance app, cancel it and get AMC Plus.
Yeah, it's $8.99 a month to have like 4 channels. So you should probably do that, including Shudder and IFC as well. So the movie is gorgeous because what they did was they took they took a lot of the iconic Picasso paintings and they used that as a template for the backgrounds and for the actors, the way the actors looked.
Yeah.
And they painted 65,000 paintings in oil and animated it.
Wow.
It took them 10 years to make this movie.
Jesus Christ.
And you could see, as people are moving, you could tell that they, they painted a bunch of versions of this painting and then moved the faces around kind of thing or whatever. Because you can see all the oil marks moving every time, all the brush strokes move every time people are like talking and moving their faces or whatever. And all the characters are based off of all the characters, which were real people that Picasso painted.
Yeah.
And the movie has a plot. It's about Picasso was friends with a lot of people from this town, the town where he died.
Yeah.
that the name escapes me right now, but he was friends with this postman, and so the postman like sent his son to send a letter to somebody like Picasso's brother or something or whatever. And it ends up being the guy ends up getting involved into the finding out about Picasso, just asking like questions about Picasso.
Yeah,
and he stumbles onto like how he died, and it sort of becomes a murder mystery, but with these like beautiful lush oil paintings. You know, in the background of some of them you could see like starry sky and everything and all that, and it's just fucking gorgeous. It's a gorgeous movie. And it's actually like pretty, like it got me, like I got into it and everything like that. So like I really enjoyed it. It's really good. But yeah, 65,000 paintings,
Jesus
over 100 artists, 10 years of work to make it happen. So I watched that, and then a book I ordered on October the 22nd just came in yesterday.
The suspense is killing.
Yeah. It's called, it's part one of a 6-part series.
Okay.
It's called Miscellanea. And it's by Jean-Yves Mitten, which I butchered his name, but he's a French artist. And this is the cover right here.
That is an interesting cover.
Yeah. You want to see the cover? Can you see it from here?
Yes.
How about you? You know, check it out.
So it's Messalina.
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 Yeah, Messalina. And so, of course, there was only like a couple of. I can't remember how I stumbled across him. Like, there's a couple of Italian comic book artists that I've been following, because one of them does like, you know, very close to traditional like cheesecake pinup stuff from like World War II. But like his own take on it, and it's mostly cheesecake. Messalina is not cheesecake. So for
Better
one,
not be with that fucking cover on.
for one, well, I thought it was gonna be like, you know, because it looks like very like old Conan the Barbarian, like when it was like the full size magazine,
like
black and white,
like Franz Frazetta style stuff.
Well, something like that. But there was like a you know, the magazine style comic books that had like the black and white ink that were very detailed, but like, you know, mostly showing skin, but, you know, covered like thinly with like, you know, some piece of whatever. So like I'm looking at the art is fucking phenomenal. Like I can't even express how amazing the pencil and art is, because this is mostly pencil and ink, black and white ink or whatever. And like I'm just looking at the pages, I'm like, this is great. Like, because I was infuriated at first, because the book was like after taxes and shipping, because it had to ship from France. It was like, it ended up being like $35 or something like that, and I get the book and it's like paper thin.
It's better than shipping from England right now.
Yeah. And so like it ended up being like 50 pages, which is like more than what it looks like, right? And I'm flipping through it, and it's like it's Roman. It's not what it looks like on the cover, which it looks like some sort of like barbaric, you know, kind of fantasy thing. It's Roman, and you know, I'm flipping through the pages, and you see like, you know, like this great like gladiatorial thing happening, and you have people hanging out or whatever, and there's chicks that are topless, you know, off to the side, and then like 3 or 4 pages in, there's you know, Augustus getting his dick sucked by 3 barbarian women.
Oh, okay.
And it's very graphic.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Very, very graphic. It shows everything in detail.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, this is not what I thought I was getting, but I'm gonna look at it because I paid like almost $40 for it.
Yeah.
And and it was I found out that it was done originally in the 90s, and this is a reissue or whatever. And the collector part of me is like, I really want to get the other 5, because there's actually a story in there, even though I can't read it.
Yeah.
But the story is like attached to a lot of illicit pornography.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like you know, if you ever looked in Heavy Metal magazine, and you know, you would see like some like erotic nurse stories or whatever that were like poorly drawn, except this is like artistic integrity at its best, but it's also pornography.
Yeah.
And so And so I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think about this.
Well, thank you for sharing with everyone.
You're welcome.
There we go.
You're welcome.
There you go. Do you like for the French language? Do you like the Roman time period? Do you like fine art? Do you like pornography? If all answers there are yes, check out Messalina.
Yeah, I think I'm going
If
to
you're
end
18
it.
or over.
I think I'm going to end it on that.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, how can you top that?
That's an
There was
exclamation.
a lot of topping that happened in that comic.
New paragraph.
sex joke.
Author Ethan, go for it.
I haven't been able to watch some movies except for the one that we were supposed to watch for tonight's episode.
We've mentioned it's the Big Lebowski. Spoilers, but we got it.
But I did see.
I'm glad you were able to fit that one in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a very busy schedule.
Real talk, I can confirm that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deep sighs.
But I did see some trailers for some movies and TV shows that's coming out next year.
Hold on, let me mentally guess how much I'm going to care about each of these if I'm thinking about what you're going to talk about.
Okay, so
This is nothing against you. This will be against the movies. I'm sorry.
The first one was Inside Out 2.
Okay, that one
Yeah,
I'm
you're gonna
actually
love that
interested in.
one.
That
Yeah,
one I'm
Inside-
actually. I don't
Inside
know
Out
if it Inside Out didn't need a sequel, but it
Definitely.
doesn't look too bad.
and I hope it's a different character or maybe.
Well, they're adding more emotions.
Yeah, so the idea is
Okay.
She's going through puberty.
she's going
Oh,
through puberty,
okay.
which is the big button that they introduce at the very end of the first movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
And they introduce anxiety.
And then
okay.
anxiety and 3 other emotions.
Yeah, and there's other
Okay.
emotions that they've.
I'm
hinted-
down for that.
You can see on the poster like they're peeking up from like it's almost like they're coming up from the sewer or some shit.
One is like envy. Oh wait, Bianca has some thoughts.
Oh, well, no. We get her a microphone. Live action audience, Bianca. Wait, but you were okay screaming it at us. But we
Well,
believe
what
in
is
you. We believe in you.
Okay, he's not holding it. What is it?
Say it again.
Oh, they've
Oh,
announced.
who are
they've
they?
announced the voice actor, or the voice actors for them, or just the emotions.
The
themselves?
emotions.
All right, coming up on Inside Out 2, we have Ennui. Yeah,
Yeah.
ENNUI, Ennui,
Okay.
not a newie.
Embarrassment. Okay.
And
Envy.
are they all E's?
Anxiety.
So 3 E's and an A. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, and Bill Hader and Mindy Kaling are not returning because they offered them like 10% of what Amy Poehler was making.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I always mark how good a Pixar movie is for me if it makes me cry, and the original movie made me cry.
Yeah, it hits you in the feels, and I'm certain if I watch it now with a teenage daughter, it's gonna hit me in the feels even harder.
I'm just imagining me and Bianca just carrying buckets with us into the theater, just ready.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
One for popcorn, one for tears.
So yeah.
Tears and popcorn.
Again, like I said, I don't think that this movie needed a sequel, but I'm
not gonna
I'm
complain.
thinking it's going to be good.
Out of all
so.
the movies that have gotten unnecessary sequels, I guess, with all adding everything.
I've come to the conclusion that like damn near every Pixar movie is eventually going to get a sequel. So yeah.
I mean, everyone thought that the story was going to end at Toy Story 3, but no, we had to get Toy Story 4.
Yeah, I like the story of Toy Story 3, but it didn't need
did not need-
Toy Story in itself didn't need sequels,
Right.
but it still did them. So there's that.
The second one was the trailer for the new Avatar: The Last Airbender show on Netflix.
Oh yeah, that one. The show exists, so I don't need another
We've
one.
already seen one
But-
live action adaptation of it.
But
You
it
know?
look, but
we
like
don't speak
the
of that
I like the
However,
yeah, I like the character, like how the characters look. It doesn't look bad. It's just
yeah. I'm gonna watch it,
Mm-hmm.
but I just know in the back of my mind it's not gonna compare to the original anime.
yeah. I think they're gonna do a decent job, but it's not gonna be as good.
It's gonna be leagues above the M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, which
that
is
doesn't take much.
lowest bar possible, but they at the very least they can't fuck it up worse.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're like taking criticisms and they're like, okay, we're not just gonna
They're not whitewashing everyone.
yeah, we're not just making white people all the good people and brown people all the bad people in this one.
Yeah.
Which is the opposite of how it was in the cartoon. All the lighter skinned people were the bad guys. So yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. On
2
my end.
trailers.
Oh,
Two trailers.
did they also? Well, let me complain a little bit.
Go for it. Go for it.
They released today the trailer for Madam Web.
I didn't. I've seen it, but I've heard that it got released. I haven't seen it.
It's not
underwhelming.
It's not going to be a good
underwhelming.
movie. It's not going to be a good movie. I like Dakota Johnson. I like Sydney Sweeney. But this movie, like, why is this movie? It was so boring.
I'll tell you why, because Sony has the rights to the Spider-Man
Sony has the
franchise.
rights, and they're going to keep pushing them out.
It does. I will say
until they make negative money.
Whether it's boring or not, it does. Like the Sony movies, like outside of course the newer Spider-Man movies, the Sony movies have for better or worse, a different feel and look to them than the Marvel movies, than the actual Marvel Studio movies. So that's how I feel about it. Whether it's good or not, it's whatever.
Yeah, I don't know who was asking for a Madam Web movie. But
I don't even know the story behind Madam Web.
We're not going to get into that.
I only know the story because of the
animated series.
90s
So in
animated
the beginning,
series.
God created the earth and the heavens.
Okay,
and then eventually Madam Web.
Madam Web. Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, there's that.
James, how have you been doing?
Not bad. Very similarly to you, I was also kind of worked a little bit rough this week.
Yeah.
God damn it! Nope. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. Everyone else can worry about us or laugh at us at their own
Well,
leisure.
guess what we had to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yes. Guess what we had to deal with, and I might send you a Twix. I haven't confirmed that yet. No, but just two things. One, this giant book to my right. The deluxe versions are already coming in. It's a RPG we've been waiting, like I think everybody around this table and many more that are not here with us right now have been waiting for this. The old Gods of Appalachia from Monty Cook Games. It is based off of their Cypher system, and the story of it is based off of the Old Gods of Appalachia podcast. Once you're done listening to us now, go download all of it and listen to it if you enjoy horror. Old Gods of Appalachia. It is fantastic. It is the early 1900s for the setting. It is Appalachia from Pennsylvania all the way down to Georgia, and they dug a little too deep. And that's all I'm going to give you for that. And you'll find out as you are listening to one of the best horror productions ever.
It's really good.
Yeah,
it reminds me of the old radio plays, not in a corny way though. Yeah. Like the old Shadow and things like that. It reminds me of that, but like done with better storytelling, of course.
Yes, absolutely on that one. The other thing, big thing. So I've been mentioning for the last couple of episodes. We've been playing Fabula Ultima, and last week one of the things that they do for the game is you have Fabula points, and the bad guys have Ultima points. And whenever anybody wants to interject something that changes the story up, or maybe rewind something that happened, or if you want to do a reroll, you spend a Fabula point. And mechanically, the more Fabula points that get spent in a session, the more XP the group gets at the end of the session. And so we've had a couple. We got some gems from an Etsy store, and I'm going to mention them here real quick because I've really enjoyed purchasing from them. But we got even more of them, so everybody can have their own individual colors. So we got pink, we got orange, we got aquamarine, we got clear, black and white. It's all sorts of cool stuff here. They're really nice. They're high quality, at least from my opinion, as far as that goes. So I want to shout out the store very quickly. This is not a sponsored plug. This is a thank you very much for the stuff that you've offered plug. This is a Shadowland Threads on Etsy. In addition to doing the gemstones, which you can use these as counters in RPGs, in board games. They just do a lot of very good styles. They do a few in metallics, but I think it's resin metallics, so it's still resin, but it's just painted to look metallic. They also do dice bags, and in the last one, I got a 20% off for ordering. In fact, they remembered me because the only thing they said, thanks again, James. And so Ms. Kim from Shadowlands Threads, thank you for the very nice quality stuff that you produce on Etsy, and probably within the next couple paychecks, so about a month from now, I'm probably going to get that Legend of Zelda dice bag, and I'm going to be using my 20% off coupon that you sent me. So I wanted to thank you very much for that. I guess I got 20% off coupon, so maybe this is sponsored.
I really need to buy more stuff off of Etsy. They got a lot of cool shit on there.
One of the colors
I try and
there
keep off of Etsy because I
for
spend too much.
For the same reason, yeah. The amber ones came out very, very well. Because it looks like amber.
These they almost glitter.
Yeah.
When you look at
they
them.
catch the light great, and I just think again, I
mosquitoes in there.
I love good craftsmanship, and that's what you get. It's what we've gotten from that. So I'm very happy with my purchase. So once again, Shadowland Threads at shadowlandthreads.etsy.com, I believe is the shop's name. And that is pretty much it for me. No feedback this week, thank God. I don't think my brain could handle it at this point. point. But if you want to leave feedback, that is travelersontheomnibus@gmail.com. Again, travelers, 1L on the omnibus @gmail.com. Jody, how else can they get in touch with us?
Well, you can take part in our polls and message us directly, or do both through Spotify.
Yes.
Is Ethan going to either be a dapper man or a dolphin man or a dapper dolphin man?
Dapper boy or dolphin man. We're going to find out when that poll closes. So if you look for that poll on our Spotify page and vote correctly.
Yes.
Yes.
There's
I believe the terms are Dapper Ethan and Flipper Ethan.
Yeah, there's Flipper Ethan and Dapper Ethan.
Yeah,
Flipper named after one of the most famous dolphins.
So
in the
long,
world.
and thanks for all the fish.
like any good democracy, there's only one right choice.
Yes.
The choice that
To
gets
start a
the most votes.
fist fight in the middle of Congress.
Oh.
You want to go? You want to go? And then poor Bernie Sanders.
Sure, let's go. You're a senator, sir.
You are a senator, sir.
Jesus.
Oh, man.
So, senators, if you're listening, thank you for listening to us. And if you have other senators that would also like to start fights on the Senate floor, or perhaps would like to just chill out, you're not even paying attention to the committee meeting.
Hey, the House is also trying
You
to
don't
start.
pick a fist fight with the Teamsters. You don't.
Yeah.
Listeners, if you have senators you want to submit to fist fighting, please email us at travelers.com.
Send me the names of senators. I will read them off here and ask them to fist fight on the Senate floor.
Oh my God.
I'll
You probably
do it.
don't. You probably don't need to do that much.
Just do that. However, again, if you have friends that you think would like to listen to us but do not listen on the same podcasting networks that you listen on, we are available on Spotify, Apple, Google, and Amazon.
Saga.
Yeah, Google's going to be YouTube Music any day now. It could be changing right as we're recording this. Saya. Song of Saya is one of the most disturbing audio novel horror tales I've ever been a part of. It is creepy as fuck.
Oh, okay.
But you know what's not creepy as fuck? Our main topic. The Coen brothers are amongst the best directors that have ever been born in America. I state that by myself, but if anyone wants to agree with me, if anyone wants to disagree with me, I'm okay
Absolutely
with that
second.
I love the Coen brothers.
Absolutely second. They are one of the best directors of all time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just list off a few things we've mentioned before earlier today. Raising Arizona, but we also have Blood Simple, which I think that was their first theatrical work.
That's one I still need to watch.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one.
Probably their best, or at the very least their most lauded, No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, that's one of
Burn
my
After
favorite.
Reading, which after looking at the Lebowski again, I can honestly say that the Big Lebowski is a better Burn After Reading.
Right. Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Yeah,
with
that
you
was
on
one that I didn't like when I watched it. I might end up going back to it. I remember my girlfriend at the time liked it, but I didn't like it.
I don't necessarily hate it. I just think the delivery and execution in Big Lebowski is just way better. But we also have Barton Fink, I believe, is in
That's
there.
another one I still
yeah,
haven't
Barton
seen.
Fink I haven't seen.
There's
another
Oh Brother, Where Art
Oh Brother,
Thou?
Where
I
Art
love
Thou?
that movie.
Is a phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
You've got
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
yeah, that one I haven't watched. and
I've
I don't
seen that
have,
one.
and
That
I
one's
don't-
really good.
I don't have
Netflix right now.
Netflix right now. John Turturro, Gabriel Byrne.
I'm gonna punch myself in the head when you.
I literally looked at it because for some reason I have Mulholland Falls in my brain and I cannot think of anything
and it's
else.
Mulholland Drive.
It's Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, like you're getting your David Lynch's
motherfucker,
crossed.
and I hate it because it is one of my favorite of their movies.
Fargo?
No, there is Fargo.
There is
There's
Fargo.
Inside Llewyn Davis.
The Man Who Wasn't There.
The Man Who Wasn't There. I haven't watched. Fucking shit. Okay.
I have the list up.
Well, name some that we. There's only like 3 that we haven't
A
named.
Serious Man.
No,
The Hudsucker.
A Serious Man is
Hudsucker Proxy
very good.
was
I love Hudsucker
Mil-
Proxy.
I haven't watched Hudson.
Miller's Crossing.
Miller's Crossing. God fucking damn it! Why the fuck did that? I love that fucking movie. And it flew out of my brain, and it's really annoying that I could not think of it, even though I specifically couldn't think of it the other night when I was watching Big Lebowski, and I went to my library and I pulled the movie down and I looked at it and then I put it back and said, remember that, and then my fucking Swiss cheese brain it fell through the fucking holes. God damn.
A lot
I
of
will
people
go with Colander.
Yeah.
A lot of people haven't seen Hudsucker Proxy just because that title's just off-putting.
Yes, they have. So, quick thing, and we've kind of mentioned this before. There's kind of like two distinctions between Coen Brothers movies. They have their dramas and then they have their comedies. And like I said, their comedies are usually like very absurdist. There's a surreal nature to them, and then their dramas are often very nihilistic.
So we mentioned this. We mentioned this briefly, and Jody and I started talking about this in the car over here. So I think the surrealism carries over all of their movies.
Yes, there is some of that. Less so in the ones like No Country for Old Men is based on a Cormac McCarthy book. They also did the remake of True Grit, which is also very excellent.
That one's really good.
But that one, the surreality, because that's based on a book, most of the time they write their own stuff.
Right.
But they have done a couple of books, book adaptations here and there. They're very good at adapting books, I think.
Yeah, Hudsucker falls into a really strange category for them because that movie has both drama and comedy in it.
And they will oftentimes mix it up.
Raising Arizona, like you had mentioned, that kind of shares like both of that, like quirky, characters.
Yeah, in anything they're really good about like adding these quirky little side characters who do weird things. Most of the time played by John Goodman. They're also, and we'll mention this as we go through the movie, they have kind of a stable of rolling people in there. It's kind of like a Scorsese movie
or a Tarantino
movie where there's a handful of the same actors
in a similar style, but I guess to a lesser extent, Frank Darabont.
Frank Darabont does that. A lot of directors like to do this, and the Coen Brothers are no different. There is like a rolling list of actors where you're gonna see if it's a Coen Brothers movie. You're probably going to see them in there,
with the exception of Nicolas Cage. I think that's the only one he's in.
That's the only one that he ever did. But this is the same thing like Brad Pitt's only ever been in
Burn Without Reading,
Burn After Reading,
Burning After Reading.
Frances McDormand,
McDormand has been in a lot of them, and she's she's also married to one of the Coens. Not saying that that's the reason why she's in them, because Frances McDormand is a phenomenal actress.
Right. Two Oscars to her name. So yes.
Yeah. And another something I want to mention. I don't know if anybody paid attention to this. In these earlier Coen Brothers movies, you'll only ever see it directed by Joel Coen or directed by Ethan Coen. When in reality both of them directed the movies. It's just there's some weird reasons that they couldn't. I think it's something having to do with the Directors Guild, where they couldn't put both of their names on there in the beginning.
Well, I think to counteract that, I think Joel's the producer on this one, and Ethan's the director.
they will flip back and forth
between those roles.
Like if you watch some of their older movies, they'll say directed by Ethan Coen, produced by Joel Coen, or something like that. They'll go back and forth. But needless to say, regardless of who it says it's directed by, these are always directed by both of them. They just could only put one name on there for some weird reason. I remember hearing about what the reason is, but I haven't. I don't remember what
legal reasons.
Yeah, it's probably legal Directors Guild reasons, because they do have some weird rules sometimes with some of that stuff.
So the movie in particular that we are talking about tonight, if you hadn't figured it out yet, is The Big Lebowski. Came out at Sundance, I believe, in January of 1998, and then released in the United States, I believe, in February of the same year. So the way movies are with me is it's a 0 to 10 scale, and you get points and deducted points along the way. So when this movie opens up and Sam Elliott is narrating, this immediately 4 points towards 10 that you're going to get for this movie. Sam Elliott is the perfect voice for this, because I'm a sucker for Americana movies. Forrest Gump is my favorite movie of all time, and that is like Southern Americana, but also just the United States in general, just Americana. This movie is very California Americana. This is a California movie,
which is very weird because the Coens are from Minnesota.
Right. But they
nail it.
But they do nail it
perfectly. Nail it.
And I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All I was going to say is it's California, but don't be mistaken. It's not really L.A. proper.
Yeah.
It's more like the outskirts of.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Los Angeles.
particularly he lives in Pasadena.
The main thing about this is that this is a neo-noir movie, and this is kind of a deconstruction of the of the noir genre. And I'll mention like little pieces here and there where it comes up, where they're pulling little things from noir, because this really is like, it's a comedy, but it's a noir
it's
movie.
a mystery.
It's a mystery, but they turn that on its head. It's a mystery, but they have a guy who really doesn't give a fuck about the mystery at the center of it. But yeah, Sam Elliott as the stranger. It's a very unusual way to do a narrator, because he actually becomes a character in the
Yeah.
in the
I
movie.
like the fact that the open narration, that when it bleeds into the movie starting, and Jeff Bridges as one of the Lebowski's, spoiler, is in the grocery store, like picking up like half and half for his White Russian, and it's mentioned by the narrator that this is a set in a specific time in the 90s. This movie was made in the 90s.
Yeah, and this actually does kind of matter.
90s.
Yeah.
That to me perfectly like crystallizes this both in time and place, but also is you could pick this up 30 years down the line,
right?
And having that explanation goes from being a joke to being necessary.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. And to set the stage, this Jeffrey Lebowski, who doesn't want to be called that, he wants to be called the Dude, is in a supermarket in a bathrobe and like shorts and a dirty t-shirt, and he's not just shopping for half and half, he's opening up bottles and tasting them and drinking them to check how fresh they are,
right? Because
when he goes to get the to pay for it, he has a milk mustache, and he's also writing a check for 63 cents. So this lets you know where the Dude is right now. Also, something to bring up: when he's there, he notices the Desert Storm speech that Bush Sr. gives, talking about this aggression will not stand.
Right.
There's a if you notice, there's a pattern of the Dude will hear something, will be told something, and then later on he will use it, but he will use it really shittily. Like he uses it in the most lazy and misunderstanding way.
Right. Yeah.
And it's always very, very funny. So yeah, this aggression will not stand. You will hear that later.
Mm-hmm.
So I will state this now, and just to get this out of the way. So nobody else could have played Tony Stark, but everything's inevitable after it happens. That being said, no one else could play Tony Stark because of the way Robert Downey Jr. played it. Nobody can be the Dude but Jeff Bridges.
Right. Yes.
No one, and again, it's because of how he played the role, and it's inevitable after that. But there is no actor, living or dead, in my opinion, that could encapsulate this character so perfectly. And it's one of the reasons why this goes from cult classic to just classic movie. It just does. He is so pitch perfect in nearly every scene, every line of dialogue. There's nothing wrong about this character. Like everything he does is within what this character, I feel, should be. What he does makes sense. Like he's so detached from life that even when his life is threatened, he kind of just disassociates from it on occasion. Sometimes on more than one occasion, and distances of disassociation go from small to large in that regard.
Dudism exists. There is a religion based off of the Dude, in case you didn't know, Ethan.
I feel like I've heard you mention it before.
Yeah. Also, the Dude is based on a real guy. If I'm not mistaken, he actually turned out to be kind of a piece of shit, but which is kind of not surprising. But it's a dude. It's a guy that the Coens knew. I think while they were they met and kind of knew while they were in Hollywood.
Gotcha.
I could some bits of that might be wrong, but the guy who is the Dude actually exists.
Okay.
He does not look as cool as Jeff Bridges.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Well, there again. Make any other character at that time, make any actor around that time, around Jeff Bridges' between age and ability. I don't think you can match that up and have that character be likable, because this character, if you take away Jeff Bridges, is not likable.
Yeah,
like at all.
Yeah.
Like he is a bum.
Right.
He is a slouch. Again, like you said, he doesn't really have his own personality. Sometimes he's just taking bits and pieces of what other people say.
But
and
because
applying
it's Jeff Bridges,
but because it's Jeff
very
Bridges,
charming.
it all fucking works.
It's charming.
He's very easily manipulated by pretty much everybody in this entire movie.
Right.
This movie
to his detriment.
This movie starts out with a man pissing on another man's rug.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
He comes home and these people they're waiting on him and they're attacking him and they're saying, "Where's the money, Lebowski? We know you have the money." Jackie Treehorn wants his money. They put his head in the toilet. And they keep asking him, and the first thing that you actually hear the dude say is, they're asking, "Where's the money? Where's the money?" And he goes, let me keep looking down there. I think it's there somewhere.
Yeah.
And then they put his head in the toilet again, and they beat the shit out of him.
They say like, your wife is in trouble, and he like holds up his hand. It's like, do you see a wedding ring on my hand?
Does this place look like I'm married?
and then one of the guys immediately just takes a piss on his rug.
Yeah, he goes, I'm not. My name is Lebowski, but I'm the dude. Like, I am not who you're looking for. And then one of the guys just pisses on his rug. He's like, "Oh man, no, not the rug."
He's like, "Are you sure you got the right Lebowski?"
Yeah, they were like,
"Isn't he supposed to be a millionaire?
Isn't this guy supposed to be a millionaire?"
They're like, "Wait a minute."
No, this is just a deadbeat.
Yeah. They piss on his rug, and that kind of starts the whole series.
Because he's like having a conversation with John Goodman's character at the bowling alley.
Yeah,
about the rug.
we cut to the bowling alley.
Did
and
we miss something?
No. I will not, like, John Goodman is a tremendous actor, especially in Coen Brothers movies, but I will not have you disgrace the memory of Walter Sobchak in any way, shape, or form without mentioning his name over and over again.
But before this, you have a little montage where they introduce the bowling alley. The bowling alley, they introduce it like a character, and I don't think bowling has ever looked as sexy as this, weirdly, even though they're showing, like, fat, disgusting people.
You say sexy. And we'll have a question about that at a later time. I would prefer inviting. Like, hey,
I could say
you know
that,
what?
yeah.
Okay, bowling's. You know what? I would like to go bowling right now.
It makes me want to bowl with Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Nobody fucks with the Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we introduce them, and we the dude is explaining to his friends. We see Donnie, who is played by Steve Buscemi, who the reason that Donnie barely gets a word in and never understands what's happening is because of his role in Fargo, where he's a quick talker and always talks too much. So the Coen brothers thought it would be funny to have Steve Buscemi do this, where he's constantly getting interrupted and told to shut the fuck up.
Which is great, because later there's a payoff.
Yeah. We see Donnie bowl a strike, and he's super happy about it. And he comes in the middle of the conversation where the dude is telling them, hey, the dude come and pissed on his rug. And then we have Walter. Walter's a trip.
Oh, yeah.
By far the most enjoyable part of the movie. It's just Walter.
The most unhinged, definitely.
He's definitely
unhinged. The man is chaos incarnate.
He's either perfectly hinged or just the door's blown the fuck off.
Steve Buscemi, like Donnie, he's just like trying to figure out what's going on, and Walter's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
up, Donnie.
every single time Donnie asks a question, and he never knows exactly what's going on, he's told, shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Yeah.
You hear that like 20 times.
Yeah.
He goes from like highly aggressive to Donnie. It's like, also, dude, Asian American is the correct nomenclature.
Yeah. There's a lot of.
They use the term. He uses this Chinaman pissing on my rug. It's like he goes, dude. Be more sensitive. It's Asian American, and then he'll just say some racist shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Also goes on rants on the war of Vietnam.
Oh yeah. Nam looms large in Walter's life. Yeah. He was heavily scarred by Nam. You can tell that. It's a big fucking problem. But any conversation with Walter throughout the movie is going to eventually lead. All roads lead to Nam with Walter
or his ex-wife.
Yeah, or his ex-wife.
It's like, why you gotta look after the dog?
Yeah, who he's looking at
while she's in Hawaii.
Yeah, that's a little bit later, but yeah. So Walter is basically the devil on the dude's shoulder, where every single bad idea that the dude has comes from Walter, and Walter goes, "Hey, how about you go find this other Jeffrey Lebowski, and you get compensated. You get compensated for your rug being pissed on. That's not your fault." And he's telling him all these things that the dude is also going to repeat back.
Yeah, that rug really tied the room together.
Yeah, it really fucking tied the room together. There are tons and tons of quotable lines in this. I had to slow down because we were like 20 minutes in, and I had like 3/4 of a page written of notes.
Well, again, these movies, they're so deep without being complicated.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we're introduced to the dude going to the titular Big Lebowski's house.
Jeffrey Lebowski.
The other Jeffrey Lebowski.
Right.
And he is being escorted through by Philip Seymour Hoffman.
God rest his soul.
Yeah, great fucking actor. He's great in this movie. I want to say he's been in other Coen Brothers movies, but they don't come to mind exactly which role. For some reason, all I can think of is Paul Thomas Anderson movies that he's been in.
And Capote. Amazing.
But yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman is the brown noser of all brown nosers, and he's telling him, he's basically the butler, who's telling him all these awards that Jeffrey Lebowski has gotten. Telling him not to touch some of these things. They introduced the idea of, he hasn't been in any? Nope. Oh, okay, damn.
No other brothers.
Wow. They introduced the idea of the Lebowski Kids, which is like a some sort of charity that they
run. It's like a foundation.
Yeah, it's like a foundation, the Lebowski Foundation or something like that. And then he meets
the Future Achievers.
Yeah, then he meets Jeffrey Lebowski, the Big Lebowski, and man, is this guy a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately dismissive of the dude. Calls the dude a bum. He asked him, like, hey, why is this, why? So some guy came in.
Why is this my issue?
Why is this my issue? Some guy came in and pissed on your rug. Why do I have to reimburse you for this?
To be fair, that is a fair question.
Right. Yeah, that is a fair question.
But the rug fit the room very well.
Yeah, the rug tied the room together. And he keeps, trying to explain, and he keeps getting cut off. He says, like, is every time a rug is matriculated on in this city, do I have to reimburse them?
Well, no, man. It's just the room. The rug tied the room together very well.
Man, this aggression will not stand, man. This aggression will not stand.
And so he basically just gets up and
Are
walks
you
off
unemployed?
while he's getting yelled at.
Yeah,
right?
I need to point this out here.
Yeah.
I believe the actor who plays the Big Lebowski is the same man who in Blazing Saddles goes, "Never mind that shit. Here comes Mungo."
I think so. I think it's
he was also in the Hudsucker Proxy.
That's a guy who's in several movies. The Big Lebowski is also in a wheelchair.
David Huddleston.
Yeah, Huddleston. I'm pretty certain he's in Blazing Saddles.
Because in a weird connection with
I
Walter
think he's in a couple
Sobchak,
other Coen Brothers movies besides Hugs.
Korea fucked this guy up.
Yeah. He got fucked up in Korea, and he's the kind of yuppie type, and the dude is the slacker type.
Right.
There's the I don't know the word. So the Big Lebowski's leaving, and Philip Seymour Hoffman's character comes up to him and is like, "Hey, how was the meeting?" He's like, "Oh yeah, he said that I could take any rug in the house."
Yeah. Okay, and the next scene is the smash cut. He's carrying the rug.
He's carrying
with Philip
the rug.
Seymour Hoffman.
And then we get to meet
Bunny.
And then we meet
Bunny.
Bunny Lebowski.
Yeah.
Who is sunning by the by the pool or a little bit away from the pool, the deck above the pool.
Yeah.
She is
painting her toenails.
She is painting her toenails green. This is very important.
It is
to match her swimsuit.
She sticks her foot in the dude's face, and he says, and she says, "Blow," and he goes, "Okay."
Yeah.
And he looks over and sees a guy in the pool, and he says, "Hey, won't he mind?" And she goes, "No, Lewis is a nihilist. He doesn't care about anything."
Remember that as well.
Yeah. The idea of nihilism is very interesting in this movie. There's
he does
actually
care about one thing: fucking money.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
we keep going.
Yeah, there's actually a collection of essays written about the Big Lebowski. One of the teachers, I took a philosophy and movies course at USM, and one of the guys, he wrote one of those essays, and we actually watched the Big Lebowski and talked about nihilism and things like that. It's been a very long time, so I'm not going to be able to like talk too much about that, but yeah. So yeah, and then she tells him that she'll suck his dick for $1,000, and that Philip Seymour Hoffman's character can't watch unless he pays
Unless he pays her
$100.
Well, I mean, Hoffman's character, he's like, oh my god,
He was like, and he's like trying to laugh it off, like,
okay, then.
yeah. He's like, what?
And the dude's like, well, let me go to a cash machine.
I would like to point out at this point that Bunny Lebowski is played by Tara Reid.
Yeah.
A young Tara Reid.
Yeah.
Yes.
A American Pie Tara Reid. Now,
Oh
the
yeah, I think this is one of her first roles.
Yeah, the reason why I stress this is there is a different timeline where Tara Reid, instead of going through American Pie, she did like other Coen Brothers movies and other stuff, and had directors that actually gave a damn about what was going on in front of the camera.
Right.
And I think we would have had a much different Tara Reid.
Oh yeah, you're not wrong.
We ended up not.
Wow.
But it's weird to look at this just little time capsule of time.
Right.
Oh, another funny line is when she says like, "Oh, Louis doesn't care about anything. He must be a nihilist." The dude goes, "Well, that must be exhausting."
Yeah.
Great fucking dialogue.
It's great. So yeah, and then we're back to the bowl. Like things tend in this movie, things tend to basically come
Wrap
back
around
to the
bowling alley.
We come back to the bowling alley, and the dude is telling him about everything. And Walter comes in and he has a dog with him, and he says it's his wife's dog, his ex-wife's dog. She's gone with her boyfriend, and he has to take care of it, which, man, is one of the saddest things ever.
The dog is a show dog and has fucking papers.
Yeah, it's fucking papers, so you can't put him in a you can't board him because then he'll lose his hair.
Yeah.
And then we have if you didn't think Walter was super unhinged, the people, they're in a league.
They're in a bowling
league, and they're playing a guy and they're playing a team, and the guy goes over the line.
His toe goes
over. Well, Walter says that his toe goes over the line.
No, he doesn't say that. He doesn't say, "Hello, sir, your toe went over the line." He's talking with the dude, and then all of a sudden he goes, "Over the line!" And just like, good God.
Yeah. And the guy's like, "No, my toe didn't go over the line. Mark it as the number." He's like, "No, mark it 0.
Mark it as 8.
Mark it 8." And then Walter goes, "No, mark it 0." And then Walter pulls out a fucking gun.
Yeah, after about like 30 seconds of interaction, because
before this, he tells him, "This is not Nom. This is bowling. There are rules."
Right.
Yeah. This is league.
And he pulls out a gun
and yells, "Am I the only fucking one who cares about the rules?"
Mark it as 8 and see what fucking happens.
Mark it as 0. And he points the guy, and then he cocks the gun and points it again. Mark it 0. And the guy's, okay, I'll mark it 0.
The dude hands him the pencil.
Yeah.
He marks it 0, but he does iterate that I'm putting in a complaint with the league.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
I'm like, this motherfucker has a gun on you and you still want the last fucking word.
Yeah. And
what is going on
here? The
here?
next thing that we see is they're leaving, and the dude's like, "Man, that's not cool. You can't do that. We're going to get in trouble with the league."
And then the cops pull up behind him.
And then as they're getting in their car, the cops fucking...
As an after, the thing is, you don't focus on that. That's going on in the background while the conversation between these two is still
The cops show up, go in the bowling alley, and they just leave.
Yeah. We also so after this, it's the next morning, and we get the reason why the dude had to get half and half is because he makes White Russians
all the time.
He only drinks White Russians, and they have to be stirred with his finger. That's how you make a White Russian. He gets a call from the Big Lebowski. He gets a call from Philip Seymour Hoffman and tells him, "Hey."
Well, eventually, There's
yeah.
there's a call from the league. It said we had a complaint. It's
he's going through his messages. I'm sorry. Yeah.
As he's like dancing on the rug.
The guy who got the gun pointed at him, he's saying, he's got the rug lit and it's really tying the room together. And he's going through his messages, and you get the guy who had a gun point on him. Is like, hey, I filed a complaint, and then the next thing is a guy from the league saying, hey, we got a complaint. This is not cool.
Also, before all this, there's also the introduction of his landlord that comes by.
Yeah, really weird dude.
Yeah, that was an odd interaction.
Yeah, well, there's all these. The Coen brothers always have these really weird characters in there, and this is a really weird character.
Saying that his dance recital is this Saturday.
Yeah, and the dude is like, yeah, sure.
Also, rent's due tomorrow.
Yeah, rent's due. And he's like, oh yeah.
Just slide it under the door.
Just slide under the door. He's a really odd person.
Yeah.
I want to stress the recital was the important part there. Rent was secondary.
Yeah, rent. He was like, hey, yeah, tomorrow's the 10th, and the dude's like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, and rent's due. Oh yeah. He's like, oh yeah, just slip it under the door, and the dude's like, yeah. Like he never says that he's actually going to pay rent. And then he gets a message saying, hey, we're cool. We've been trying to call you.
It's not about the rug.
It's not about the rug. The rug is cool. You can keep the rug. We just need your help with something. And then we get the highest of melodrama because he goes and sees the Big Lebowski, Jeffrey Lebowski, who is in his study staring at the fire. The lights are off, and he's listening.
Lights, only fire.
And he's listening to fucking Lacrimosa. So he's being the most melodramatic. The dude sits down and lights up a joint.
Is it okay if I light up a J, man?
The big Lebowski tells him, yeah, somebody kidnapped my
Bunny.
Kidnapped my wife. They sent this ransom note. It's a faxed ransom note of cutting. Back in the day when we had magazines, Ethan,
and newspapers,
instead of writing it so they couldn't see your handwriting, you would cut words out of magazines.
Yeah, and then you would
glue them together. Yeah.
But this is just a fax of that. So
so this is a fax of that. And at this point, it feels like the dude is in a different movie than everybody else in this fucking like. The Lebowski goes on this long-winded thing, and he's super melodramatic, and he talks about what makes a man. He's like, he goes,
and then that quickly becomes background chatter as the dude is just reading the fucking facts.
Yeah, he's not even listening to him. And he's like, "It's not what makes a man." He's like, "Yeah, sure, that and a pair of testicles."
Yeah.
Which strangely, there's a payoff for that line as well.
Lebowski goes, "Are you surprised by my tears, Mr. Lebowski? Strong men also cry. Strong men also cry." Just the most melodramatic, and the dude's like, "Yeah, whatever." So they give him. So then we go again back to the
well, he's like, you have instructions, right?
Yeah.
Like, only you can go.
Yeah.
There can only be one person, and here's where it's supposed to. The drop off was supposed to happen.
Well, they give him a
pager.
A pager.
They give him a cell phone brick, don't
that's
they?
Later. That's later.
Okay, never mind.
When he actually gets the money.
Okay.
We go back to the bowling alley, and he's telling them, hey, they gave me a pager when they're going to page me, and then I come and get the stuff. And that's when we're introduced to John Turturro, who is a frequent of the Coen brothers, as the Jesus, to a mariachi version of Hotel California.
Sir, do not disgrace the Gypsy Kings like that. That is the Gypsy Kings version of Hotel California.
Okay.
I love the part. It's like everything is in fucking Spanish. Until you get such a lovely place, such a lovely place.
He's sitting there with his bowling ball and the cleaning rag, and he's just shaking it right by his crotch.
Is in a full one
color tracksuit,
like almost like a janitor suit, but like super tight and purple.
He has the hand gear for his bowling arm.
Yeah, he licks the bowling ball when he goes to go, and then he rolls a strike and celebrates with a little jig. So you might not know, they made a sequel to The Big Lebowski about the Jesus.
Oh,
And that becomes really weird when we talk about the next thing, where we cut to Lebowski and Walter and Donnie barely understanding what's going on, and they're watching this, and they're mean mugging him. And then Walter goes, yeah, this guy is a pederast. He exposed himself to an 8-year-old, and he had to go around telling everybody that in the neighborhood when he moved there that he did this. He's a sexual offender. So it's really weird that they chose to make a movie out of this guy. I've heard it was really, really bad.
right.
Yeah, not a lot of good reviews on it.
Yeah,
the Jesus rolling.
The Jesus rolls or something like that. I've heard it's a very, very bad movie. I don't want to watch anything about because the good thing about the Coen brothers is they give you these really eccentric characters in really small bursts, and you don't want that in a full multi-hour.
There's
movie.
a reason why Kingpin didn't work as a movie.
Yeah. So yeah, and then he tells then the Jesus tells him like, hey, I heard about you, pulling a gun out. That shit ain't gonna work with the Jesus. You try to pull a piece on me, I'll take it from you and stick it up your ass and pull the trigger until it goes click. Regardless of what, like, it's really weird that they made him a pedophile, but he is a funny character.
Well, let me say here. You think he's going to be a more important part of the movie than he actually is.
Yeah.
Just anecdotally, as we're talking about this, it's some of the most memorable scenes in there just because of how powerful John Turturro as an actor is. But what he's literally there and then he's gone and then he comes back again a little bit and then just disappear, and nothing of value is lost.
The Coen brothers are really good at making very good, memorable scenes with characters that are only in that scene or maybe in a couple of scenes.
Right.
See the coin flip scene in No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Or pretty much any questioning scene that isn't an interrogation scene in Fargo.
Oh yeah,
Right. Sam Elliott, does he show up yet, or is that the next time they're at the bowling alley? Because it's about.
I think it's right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
get this feeling that the first Julianne Moore scene happens.
It's right. Yeah, it's right after this.
And then Sam Elliott.
There's a funny scene. There's a funny line of dialogue. So the Coen brothers are really great at dialogue. Where Donnie confuses Lennon, Lenin, with Lennon, Lenon, the Beatles versus the versus the fucking revolutionary Soviet guy.
Yeah.
And then we also get it's just like your opinion, man. Yeah, and then after this we get the dude is laying on his nice new rug, listening to bowling finals.
Yeah.
Which
from like 1985
from
or
like
something.
1985, which tells you so much about the dude. And then he opens his eyes with headphones on. He opens his eyes, and Julianne Moore and two random ass dudes are staying there over him, and then they knock him out, and then he has a really weird dream sequence. There's a couple of really weird dream sequences in this.
Quite possibly a few too many.
So and they explain it with a very quick line of dialogue after the second one, because he talks about him doing acid.
Yeah, the acid flashbacks.
So these are basically like the acid that's still
like
in
flashbacks.
is still going, and he is basically re-triggering these flashbacks for him.
Yeah. So he wakes up and his beeper's going off, and they go like, "Hey, we've been trying to reach you for 80 minutes. We're gonna have the drop off. You gotta come get the money." He comes and gets a gigantic metal briefcase, and they give him an old basically back then a cell phone, which is the size of a suit, which the size of another suitcase.
Yeah.
Because the guys are gonna call him and tell him exactly where to drop the stuff off.
By the way, the bottom part of that whole brick, that was the battery.
Yeah.
That's how much battery power those things took.
Yeah.
Also, the briefcase, 100 million. $1 million in only 20s.
Yes.
Specifically only 20s.
Yeah. For some reason, after this, he meets with Walter to pick him up. Walter has a bag.
Because they mentioned in the last scene that it's like, I kind of would like you to be.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but he's saying it offhandedly. He also mentions offhandedly, she probably isn't even kidnapped.
Oh, yeah. They say, yeah, she's probably just like gone somewhere. Walter is taking that to
She's
heart.
probably orchestrating this.
His idea is, here I have a ringer full of my underwear. We're going to give them this. And we're gonna keep the money because they're only paying you $20,000 for this, and they're
there's $1 million in the briefcase.
There's $1 million in the briefcase. You're really getting screwed on this one. Plus, she definitely just kidnapped herself. Like nobody's losing out of this.
And they're arguing this whole time when they're in the car about this, about the ringer situation.
Yeah, the dude is like, no, I don't want to do this. This is stupid. We're gonna get this girl killed, and the Walter keeps going, no, she kidnapped herself, so this is fine.
And then the phone rings.
Yeah, then the phone rings. He's supposed to be alone, and he immediately gives it away that somebody else.
He's like, we're coming, man.
Yeah, who is we?
Where do you want us to go?
I was talking rhetorically.
Yeah, the royal we.
The royal we.
Quick interjection. So you hear this voice, and anybody who knows, it's Peter Stormare.
Yeah.
Who, if you, again, going back to Fargo, he was one of the two bad guys from Fargo, namely the one that didn't go into the fucking wood chipper.
Yeah, the guy who put him in.
Yeah.
Put
He
Steve
was
Buscemi in the,
he was also the devil in Constantine, which is a better movie than people give it credit for.
I love Constantine.
Constantine's a good movie. It's just not a good John Constantine movie.
Exactly.
That's true.
That's very true there. But yeah, it's Peter Stormare. And again, if you've ever heard Peter Stormare talk, you remember that voice very fucking quickly.
Right.
And then you notice it popping up in several other places like, oh, maybe he's right and he doesn't realize it, the dude. But anyway, yes.
So yeah,
they're like fighting over the suitcase, like over the fake loaded suitcase when they're driving, and John Goodman just throws it out the window.
Yeah, so John Goodman's plan is to, when they stop to make the exchange, he knocks the guy out.
Yeah.
And they just take the money.
Right.
Or no, what he's gonna beat the shit out of the guy who they're going to exchange and get them to say, hey, where's the girl?
Right.
But then the kidnappers say, no, you're coming past this bridge. Throw the briefcase out the window. He's like, no. Walter's like, no, we can't do that. That messes up the plan. So they throw the
ringer out.
They throw the ringer out, and then
Walter throws the ringer out.
Walter throws the ringer.
This needs to be stressed here.
Okay,
so here's what we do. So I'm going to jump out, and I'll have the Uzi, at which point he reveals a fucking Uzi.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the Uzi.
Like, the volume gets turned up on all the schemes by 50 as soon as Walter gets 1 second to think.
Yeah.
And then you take the wheel of the car and drive.
At 15 miles per hour.
Yeah, and you swing it around. And it all goes to shit immediately.
Yeah, the Walter tries to roll out of the car while it's moving. And then the people with the bag just take off on a fucking motorcycle.
God damn it. The Uzi falls out and spins around and shooting. It takes out the fucking back tire, and the fucking car crashes into the only light pole in the desert.
Yeah, the dude's car goes through absolute hell in this movie. So yeah, and then Walter's plan is gone to shit. So what does he say? Fuck it, let's go bowling.
Yeah, fuck it, let's go bowling.
Yeah, so then they go bowling. That's when, and then after that, is there anything that happens in the bowling?
Sam.
This is when Sam Elliott shows up.
This is when he meets the stranger, and they just kind of sit there and talk for a little bit at the bar while
asking for sarsaparilla.
The stranger asks for sarsaparilla and says that he likes the dude.
I'm pretty sure at this one the dude also calls the White Russian a Caucasian.
Yeah, he does.
Sam Elliott also mentions two things that are important for the end of the movie. He mentions that it's like you have to drink so much, and the dude's like, what? Do you have to swear so much?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? We'll get to that later.
So yeah, then the dude gets a call from Maud Lebowski saying that she stole his rug.
Right.
Well, like,
He calls the
is
cops.
This is before that. Him and Walter are exiting the bowling alley.
Oh yeah,
they're talking
and
about
his
it.
and his car, because the
left
metal
the
briefcase with the $1 million
Right.
is in his car.
Right.
And they walk out into the parking lot,
And the car is
And
gone.
the car is stolen. So he calls the cops, and the cops come to his house.
And one of the cops is Ozzie Davis.
We get some character actors. And they're just the worst cops ever. I don't think that there are any like Tommy Lee Jones is about the only good, like, decent, helpful cop.
It's
in
so fucking funny too,
Coen
because they're
Brothers
sitting
movies.
there, they're having the conversation about his car getting stolen, and then he just happens to mention, yeah, my rug was gone too, and the
My rug
cops
is
are
also
like, was that in the car?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, man, it tied the room together.
It was a separate thing.
A separate
and
incident.
then you.
And then the answer
machine clicks on.
Hi, this is Maud Lebowski. I'm the one that stole your rug.
And he was like, well, that's in the cops.
The cop's like, well,
that's
that's one mystery solved.
That's one for the books.
I can appreciate on a fundamental level. It's like, we're not going to find this car. We're not going to find this suitcase. It's a machine that has wheels. They've already driven it to fucking
if something
Mexico,
of yours
it's
gets
gone.
stolen, no cop really gives a shit about finding it, and that is true in this movie.
So he goes to see his Maud, right?
So he goes to see Maud. Maud is incredibly pretentious. She is super feminist and arty. She is introduced.
How arty?
She is introduced by the dude walks in,
Yes.
and it's completely dark except there's a spotlight on a canvas with some paint on it. And there's some music playing in the background, and it's just laying like face up on basically on the ground, tilted a little bit. And then somebody comes from a fucking zip line swinging past him
In a harness.
holding paintbrushes and just kind of wiggling them about until she gets to the thing. And this is Maud Lebowski, and she's butt ass naked in a harness.
Yep.
She asked the dude if he is uncomfortable with the female form and the word vagina. He was like, "What?"
He's like, what?
How do you feel about coitus? What's coitus? Sexual relations. Oh, you mean coitus? fucking great. And this is where we get some more of the noir stuff.
in my head, I feel like that was not scripted. I think Jeff Bridges is like, hey, I want to play on this scene. Can we just do this one quick? And did that. And they were like, perfect, roll it.
It's possible. I want to say that the Coen brothers are pretty meticulous about their
Dialogue.
scripts.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
She explains why she took the rug.
She explains why she took the rug. The rug was a gift from her mother.
It was of
It's
sentimental
not really
value.
it's not really his to give. Also, I don't think Bunny was kidnapped. I think this is a whole deal because $1 million went away from the
Future Achievers.
the Future Achievers Fund, the charity. This is the only thing. Is it now where she explains that he's broke, or is it later?
This is later.
I think it's later.
Okay, and she says, "Hey, if you can find out, what happened to this money, I'll
give you a 10% cut.
I'll give you a 10% cut,
And
of that.
you
So
can
I'll
have any of the rugs in the house.
yeah, I'll give you $100,000.
Right.
and
You
he's
can
like,
buy a rug.
You can buy your own
Well, I
rug
really
with
like my rug.
no sentimental value.
Yeah.
And while she's explaining this, the only thing he's focused on, but what about the rug?
Yeah.
And then-
She also tells him that she's sorry about knocking him out. And here's a doctor.
Here's a
Go
doctor.
see
You
him.
should go see him.
Go see him. You really need to go see him. She was
Yeah.
very adamant about him going to see the doctor.
Yeah, and that's a very strange payoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which we'll get to that
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
He gets dropped off by a limo and immediately gets manhandled into another limo where Philip Seymour Hoffman's character and for some reason I can't remember his name and
Lebowski.
You mean
Big
Lebowski.
Big Lebowski?
The
No,
Big Lebowski. The
Philip
actor's
Seymour
name.
Hoffman.
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's character. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
And they're telling him, "Oh, you fucked up. You didn't give him the money, and now things are fucked up." And he was like, "No, man, I gave him
Rants.
Yeah.
Grant.
Grant.
Yeah.
Grant. Okay, yeah.
Brant.
Brant. Yeah.
Yeah.
That fits. Shit.
Trant.
And he's
I
like,
just-
yeah.
Can't.
And he's like, no, man, I did. I promise.
I gave him the money, man.
When it goes, yes, I promise we gave them the money. We?
We?
Yeah.
You were supposed to.
the
royal we.
The royal we.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They hand him this
It's a
envelope.
good pivot, you know.
He was like, no, I gave them the money, and then
Haven't
they
you
hand him.
considered that she orchestrated this?
Yeah, he starts talking about. He starts repeating the same stuff.
Yeah, he's like, don't you think she might have kidnapped herself, man?
Things have come to light, man.
You know, she's in debt with all these people and all these
well, specifically
porn
pornographers.
Yeah.
Yeah, with these pornographers, and they go and they're like, no, and then they hand him an envelope, and in the envelope is a toe,
It's Chekhov's toe.
A
with-
pinky toe with green nail
a
polish.
pinky toe with green nail polish, and he
We forgot something very important from the main scene with Julianne Moore.
did we forget where he makes a white Russian with powder creamer?
No, I'm
'Cause
talking.
that happens
I'm
again.
talking about the pornography that is playing.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
And it's Bunny, and it's fucking Peter Stormare.
Yeah.
Playing the role of like the fucking like
The
there's
electrician.
there's something wrong with your. I'm Peter Stormare. There's something wrong with your pipes.
I am
Yeah.
professional.
It's like,
Yeah,
I'm
the story is
professional.
ludicrous.
Yes, it's
And he's wearing a white jumpsuit with
Yeah.
like a
With a tool belt.
with a tool belt around it because this will happen.
Full head of hair. You
Yeah.
usually don't see Pierce Stormare with that.
yeah,
Right.
that's creepy actually.
And then Bunny's friend comes out. Oh, this is Jacqueline. She's staying here for the
Yeah.
night. She just got out of the shower.
And then we cut to a diner where the dude is talking with Walter, and Walter's saying, "Oh yeah, the toe. I can get you a toe.
give me 30 minutes. I'll
Give me
get you
30
a toe."
minutes. I'll get you a toe. Any color nail polish that you want." And
it's scary. It's funny because it's a movie.
Yeah.
It's scary, however, because Walter will do that.
yes, Walter can get you a toe.
The waitress is like, I need y'all to be a little bit more quiet.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is
a
a family
family
restaurant.
restaurant.
He's like, "I'm not fucking leaving." And the dude's like, "Okay, we're gone. We're gone." No, I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking
I'm
leaving.
finish
I know
my
my
coffee.
right. I know my rights.
I know my rights. Yeah, he's one of those.
Yeah. I fought for this country so we could have this conversation.
Yeah.
God damn it. And again, everything's weird because it's a Walter scene.
Yeah.
But it goes from weird to really fucking tense.
Yeah.
All roads lead
that's,
to Nam.
that's every Walter scene.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the dude is in his tub. He is enjoying a nice
smoking a joint.
smoking a joint.
Smoking a
Was he
Jay?
still listening to bowling shit
I
too?
cannot remember what
had
he was.
something
He
He
was
had
listening to something.
He was listening to something. I think it was music this time. And then
Yeah.
he hears somebody breaking in, and it's three dudes all dressed in black. One of them is Pierce Stormare. One of them is Flea from the fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they just walk in. They have a ferret on a leash, and then they drop the ferret in the fucking.
He's like, ah.
And the dude freaking out. The voice, the noises that he makes is some of the funniest shit
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
He goes, "Where is the money, Lebowski? we will cut your Johnson off. We are nihilists. We believe in nothing."
He's like, get the marmot off me, man.
Yeah, he calls it a marmoset.
Yeah. None of this is nihilism.
No.
Like none of it is.
No, they really don't understand what nihilism
Yeah.
Flea speaking with a German accent got me. Like,
yeah, they're
Not
German.
so much in this scene,
Yeah.
but when they're
Later.
like ordering from IHOP later,
Later,
that
yeah.
shit's just fucking weird.
yeah.
We believe in nothing. We are nihilists.
He's like, man, she just kidnapped herself, man.
Yeah, she kidnapped herself. I don't have the money. You bring us the money or we cut off your Johnson. So, like most things in this movie, then we cut to in medias res where he is telling them this story. And
At the bowling alley.
Walter's
Bowling
like,
alley.
fucking nihilists, man. What were they? And Donnie's like, what were they, Nazis? No, they were nihilists. And then Walter goes, man, nihilists. Say what you want about the tenets of National Socialism, dude, but at least that's an ethos.
I don't think Goodman got nominated for supporting actor, and he really should have.
No, if it's a comedy, it's very hard for
Yeah.
that to happen.
Yeah,
Or
but legitimately, like what he does is anything that could have been a lull or anything that could have made this a drama.
Oh, yeah.
and made this serious. he completely makes you realize, no, this is still a comedy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's dialed in.
And it keeps that fucking energy.
He's
just
dialed
rolling.
in the whole time.
Yeah. So,
During the conversation in the bowling alley, he gets a realization that their next tournament game is on a Saturday.
yeah.
And then
He's like, oh, I can't do that.
I can't do anything on the Shabbat.
Yeah, that's
No, on the
that's-
Shabbat.
That's Ur Shabbat.
It's before the Sabbath.
Don't roll on Shabbat.
Yeah.
So we find out that Walter has converted to Judaism because of his ex-wife, and
He's been divorced from her for 7 years.
Yeah, he's been he's still, man. The word wasn't really used in this nomenclature, but man, Walter is such a cuck, and he is such a fucking cuck. So yeah,
When you get divorced, do you have to get a new driver's license?
yeah. So he makes a big stink about that, and he's like, "No, we're gonna get that changed."
He's going to petition the league.
Yeah, he's gonna petition the league, which I don't understand how he has the standing to do that since he held a man at gunpoint.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take a stab in the dark. Doing petitions to the league happens every other fucking game with everybody, and that's why it's like we really can't have this happening, man. So it's like when he pulls a gun on him, the guy's just like, "Oh, it's just another fucking thing. Just don't
Just
do it
another
again,
day.
man." Yeah.
Oh, and earlier when the dude was being dropped off, the driver of the limo noticed that somebody was following him in a blue Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah, Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah. This will come back later.
Yeah.
These are all little things that these are the noir things that keep doing. You know, the plot thickens. You know, something else, wheels within wheels,
Right.
and then also, this person is and he starts noticing this blue beetle all over the place. Not the Mexican kid from the movie that just came out, but an actual
Blue beetle
Volkswagen
car.
Beetle.
Yeah.
See, now I want them to recut this movie with Jolo Maradona.
It's just the blue beetle
and
flying
is
behind him.
the blue beetle.
And Flea's just on top of him.
Yeah. Then he goes to Maud again, and this is where we see another excellent side character, David Thewlis, being absolutely a super pretentious guy. He's just sitting there in a black turtleneck. I think he's basically John Waters.
He's very John Waters.
Like he is basically John Waters.
He's looking at a magazine and just giggling to himself.
Which makes me wonder if like the Coens early on, because the Coens, like a big breakthrough is I think one of them or both of them were the editors on The Evil Dead. And I just wonder if they had done other editing or other work, and possibly
Could be.
John Waters would have been in the area of things that they would have been working on.
I think they also gave Sam Raimi money to do The Evil Dead as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think and also they took their trailer idea, or rather how they presented their trailer was based off of how Evil Dead presented, or how Sam Raimi presented it to people. Except instead of going like house to house to people with money, they brought in everybody into a theater and cut basically like a 20-minute, like, this is what this will look like.
Yeah.
Ethan, are you looking up John Waters?
No, I was looking at who played Knox.
Oh, I was about to say, hope that you are in incognito
mode. Look up Divine and
Pink flamingos.
Yeah,
Look
look
at it at a
flamingos.
later
Yeah,
time.
like pink flamingos, and then click on to images. So
Yeah.
moving on.
The really funny thing where the dude goes to sit down and David Thewlis is like, is about to sit down. David Thewlis is like, yeah, do you want something to drink? And he goes, and as the dude sits down, he
Yes,
says,
sir,
yeah,
a White Russian.
White Russian. David Thewlis goes,
The drinks are over there.
The bar's
over there.
The bar's over there, and he has to get up and makes it with powder creamer again.
Yep.
Dude really has to have that White Russian.
It's fucking genius.
I forgot what the conversation was between them.
This is where him and David Thewlis don't really talk, because he's like, what the fuck is this even? This guy even? He's like, oh, this is so and so. He's a video.
This
video
is when
guy.
Maud is telling them about the nihilist.
Yeah, she's telling him about the nihilist. She's telling him, my dad doesn't have any money. It was all for my mom. I'm the one who has all the money. We just let him run. We let him run a company, but he fucked that up. So we just let him run this charity.
Right. And the nihilists are the porn stars, right?
Yeah, the nihilists are the porn. This might be where she plays the. No, this is not. This is it's back in that. I didn't write great notes, but I tried to keep it in order.
Yeah.
And so after she tells him about the nihilist, she again recommends that he sees the doctor immediately that she told him about.
Yeah.
Right.
She
And
tells
he
him
still
like,
doesn't
hey,
go.
you still didn't go.
His jaw is like healed up. Is like, no, you still need to go.
Yeah. And then I think after this he's going to the doctor, right? If I'm not mistaken.
like the next scene is him at the
He's
doctor.
at the doctor.
Yeah.
And then we hear him say this, slide your shorts down.
Yeah, he's like, "What? This?
What?
No! They hit me right here." And he points to his
Yes,
face.
I know that. Slide your shorts down.
Slide your shorts down. He's like, "Oh, he's very thorough."
Then after this is when we see him driving from the doctor's office
To the second Creedence Clearwater song, dude,
Yeah.
you looking out my back door.
Yeah, while he's beating on the on the ceiling.
Well,
It's very funny.
Well, we forgot about how he found his car, right?
We did.
We missed
Oh
that.
yeah.
We
He
missed that.
gets
He didn't find his car. The cops found his
The
car.
cops found his car, and it's even more fucked up than it already was. And it smells because a homeless man probably slept in there and definitely peed in there.
He's like, hey man, is there any way I could find out where my suitcase went?
Yeah.
Like, do we have any leads?
And he's like, oh yeah, we got a whole other team working on it.
We're working in shifts.
Really funny was the guy was like, yeah, the Creedence tapes are in there because that was one of the things that he mentioned was missing. The tape deck and the Creedence tapes are still in there, dude.
How does he find out about who took his car?
So something happened. I think like a cigar or a cigarette ash, and he's got God.
He's smoking a joint, and it's a really small joint, and he goes to throw it out, and his window is closed, and it falls back into his lap.
Yeah.
And he goes and then like freaks out.
This is when he's driving from the doctor's office. He notices the Blue Beetle. And then he does the whole thing with the cigarette landing in his pants. He crashes into a dumpster.
It's so fucking fun.
Just outside his back door. So the
Right.
Creedence song is on point.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
As he's trying to find the lit joint, he finds a homework paper with a kid's name on it.
Right.
and then we cut to the dance recital.
Yeah. Then they're at the dance recital, which is some weird interpretive bullshit. Dude's dressed like, I guess, a fawn or something. There's like some opera music playing.
Yeah, he has like a tan leotard on with some leaves.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck's going on. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the dude, Donnie and Walter shows up after
He comes in with
a few minutes,
like a brown business suit.
Yeah,
with a
and it's
briefcase.
telling him, oh, I found out. Okay, the kid, he lives here. He does in this and this. We'll go shake him down.
Yeah.
And he's also his dad wrote episodes for some TV show that he. Oh, you don't know who that is? And it's like he's really upset that nobody knows who the fuck that is.
So we end up at the kid's house, right?
No. Before this,
Okay.
he's at his house. The dude's at his apartment, and he's nailing a board into the with like 1,500 nails.
This is after.
There's so many. But since we've mentioned, there's so many nails into this board.
Oh yeah,
And
this is after they go.
And he say, we're going to go back and forward in time. God damn it, because this was the scene there. I had to pause it.
This
It's so funny. He's taken all of this time to get this thing set up, and he's got a chair wedged between the board and the door so nobody can break into his fucking house anymore. And then as soon as it's set up, somebody opens the door, and the door doesn't push in, it goes out.
Yeah.
So the chair just falls straight into the doorway. And I lost
I did
it.
forget. Yeah,
This was my absolute favorite part.
that was one of the funniest bits of the entire
Jesus
movie.
Christ.
But before this, they find out where the kid lives, and they go to the kid, and it's near and in and out. That's kind of important,
Right.
They get to the house and they see this brand new car parked.
I think
right
it's a
out
Ferrari. If
It's
I'm not
a very pimp car.
It is brand new, driven off the lot.
yeah,
right in front
red.
of this
Like
kid.
the sticker is still on it, like with the price and everything. And
it's
they
in
were like,
front of
"Oh
this
man,
kid's
he
house."
spent all the money." It's like, no, he's still got like 990 $900,000, like
$960,000,
$970,000.
Right.
So they knock on the door. This Latino maid opens the door. It's like, hey, can we talk to, like, Walter's still in his suit. He's being really nice and polite, and he goes and sits down. You see a man in a fucking iron lung.
Right.
And this is the writer of the show.
Yeah, this is the writer of the show, and and Walter's like, oh, can he hear us? And he's like, oh, I really love your show. It really meant a lot to me.
Are you still writing, sir?
Are you still writing, sir? And then this fucking dead-eyed teenager comes in.
All the Ritalin.
Yeah.
All of the Ritalin is
He
inside
doesn't say
this child.
a word.
He's
Yeah.
stonewalling Walter. And
Walter's like, hey, is this your writing? Hey,
is this your homework paper?
is this your homework paper?
You flunked.
Just stonewall, no
Yeah, he's like,
emotion.
What did you do with the case? What did you do with the money? Hey, what did you do?
Where's the $1 million?
Where's the $1 million?
It's like, what did you do with the money? No, is this your homework paper? We know it's his homework paper. Let's get to the money. God damn it.
The kid just stonewalls him, doesn't give any answers. And then Walter goes, okay, you want to fuck with me? You want to
play?
You want to play?
Yeah.
This is what happens when you fuck me in the ass.
Yeah, he goes and gets
Fuck a stranger in the ass.
He goes and gets a crowbar and starts taking it to the fucking sports car.
You want to watch this out your front window.
Yeah.
Now, I want to state just real quick. The car is not necessarily parked right directly in front of the house.
Yeah.
It's parked kind of in front of the house off to the side.
Yeah, this other man comes out with a baseball bat and says, what the fuck are you doing, man?
I just bought that.
I just bought this. He's like, oh shit.
Walter has taken out all of the windshields.
He's taking out the
and
windshields,
the windows,
the lights, the headlights,
Yeah.
the rear lights.
Yeah,
He's
everything.
fucked this car up. So the guy goes, okay, I'm going to go. You fuck with my shit. I'm going to fuck with your shit. So he
It goes to Jeff Bridges' car.
with Donnie.
Donnie's in the car.
Donnie's in the car.
So he starts fucking
Smashing
bashing
windows.
He bashes the front window. He bashes the side windows. He takes swings at the dude. He takes swings at Walter.
Nothing of value is achieved, and they drive home eating In-N-Out burgers.
They drive home with In-N-Out
They're
burgers.
eating In-N-Out.
And then
The windshield is just
is
gone.
gone. You can hear the wind flowing.
You see Donnie and Walter just eating a burger.
Walter's whole attitude's like, well, that didn't go very well.
That didn't go very well.
Dude looks
So
sad,
mad.
embarrassed,
So mad.
all of the emotions.
So mad. And they still don't have the fucking money.
No, they still have no fucking idea with the money. That to their mind, this kid still has the fucking money.
This is when we get the dude like hammering the nails.
Yeah,
into
this
the
is where
board.
we get this is where you get the door. It's the same. The dudes who come in are the same guys who pissed on his rug.
Yeah.
And they say, "Oh, Jackie Treehorn wants to talk with you. We know you're the right Lebowski. You're the piece of shit.
You're the bum Lebowski.
You're the bum Lebowski, not the rich Lebowski." So they bring him to Jackie Treehorn, who is in like he's
in Malibu.
He's in Malibu.
Right.
Really nice house. We see
He's having a beach party.
yeah, he's having a beach party because he's a porn producer, so of course he's having a
Right.
fucking beach party in
course.
LA.
There's naked women. Just
Naked women jumping on
off.
trampolines.
Was it trampolines or were they like?
It
did
wasn't
they
a
have
trampoline, but
they
it
had
was-
a big
it was-
towel, and
they
they were
had-
throwing her in the
They
air.
had
with
like
a
a
towel.
sheet and they were throwing her up
and
in the
of course
air.
she's topless. 'Cause
Right.
Why
And
not?
we have a slow mo segment of her going up and down and up and down.
Yeah, so he's so Jackie's like sitting him down and he's like, "Hey, I want my money.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about any of this other shit. If you can get me my money, if you can tell me where I can get the money that Bunny owes me, I will give you 10%." And the dude's like, "Okay, cool. This kid has it."
I'll give you the address, man, and then you could just give me the 10%.
Yeah, so you just give me the 10%, man.
And then it turns out that the White Russians were drugged the whole time.
Oh, no.
Well, before this is another funny bit where Jackie gets a phone call
And he writes
something down on the thing.
On a
Now,
notepad.
in most noir movies, like the detective sees this and is like, "Okay, yeah," and he rips the paper out and he leaves. "I'll be right back." so the dude goes up there and he's looking and he gets a pencil and
The one moment of clarity he has.
he starts rubbing it because okay, I'm gonna find out what the message is.
Right.
And it's a drawing of a crude drawing of a dude with his dick hanging out.
There you go. That's it.
That's all it is.
That's it. That is like perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Jackie comes back and is like, "Oh, you're trying to fuck me." And then it turns out, oh shit, yeah, the White Russian, it was drugged. Some fucking kid, is that what you're talking? Like Jackie True's like, what? Am I supposed to believe that some fucking kid has this money? Come on, you're full of shit. And then we cut to the second dream sequence, which is the best one in my opinion. It's
the longest one.
Because we get the great song, "What Condition." I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in.
Right.
We have the dude in the white suit with the utility.
Yeah,
He's basically like reenacting the porno without there being a porno.
Sort of, kind of, but there's also bowling because everything that the dude's mind revolves around bowling.
Because it involves Julianne Moore, it becomes very artsy for no goddamn reason.
Yeah, she's in a Viking helmet with like a bra that's bowling balls.
She's Brunhilde. She's the fucking Valkyrie.
But wait,
like, what the fuck?
We can't forget Saddam Hussein giving him a pair of bowling shoes.
Yeah, Saddam Hussein
that also
gives him
happens.
and the bowling shoe is a tower that goes up to heaven, and he's all amazed by this. You got dancers with bowling ball with fanned out bowling pins on their head.
It's the Rockettes, except instead of like the flamingo, it's bowling pins.
The dude's facial expression throughout this whole scene is fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So fucking funny.
It's high as fuck is what it is.
He gets a ball and he's like helping Julianne Moore throw it, and then they throw it, and then the ball is Jeff Bridges, and
he's just pirouetting.
The dancers are like on the bowling alley with their legs spread. He's like just flying through them.
His whole body turns around.
And he turns around and then he turns
look at
back.
the upskirts and then he turns back.
And then he hits it. And, oh no, it's a bad flashback where we get the nihilists in red leotards with giant scissors chasing him. And then we cut to, oh no, he's coming back and he's running down the road
of Malibu.
Freaked out, sirens behind him.
This is reality has kicked in.
Yeah, reality
has
wakes
up
in
in a jail.
He wakes up. He's sat down in front of the chief of Malibu,
police.
and was like, "Yeah, Jackie Treehorn called us because you made a ruckus and he had to kick you out of his party, and you're all fucked up. Look at your eyes."
You're like, "No, man, he drugged me, bro."
And then he opens up the paper with the dick and balls.
Yeah, he goes through his wallet. Literally, the only form of identification that he has is a Value Club member card.
He's like, "Is this all you have for identification?"
And then he's like, "Oh man," because he's still kind of out of it. He goes, "Oh, what?" And so the chief throws a fucking coffee cup at him. Yeah. Hits him in the face. He goes, "Ow, fucking fascists!" And the fucking chief goes, "Yeah, Jackie Treehorn, he spends a lot of money in this place. Stay the fuck out of Malibu, Lebowski." He kicks him.
Stay the fuck out of my city. Yeah. Stay out of my beach community.
So the dude got a taxi back home, and the fucking
he tried to get a taxi back home.
No, he technically for a moment of time got a taxi.
For a brief moment of time.
And the Eagles' Peaceful Easy Feeling is playing, and he goes, "Man, could you please change it?" And the guy's like, "No, fuck you. I'm listening to what I want to listen to.
Get your own taxi."
He's like,
man, I've had a long day.
I've had a long day. Could you please get
I really fucking hate
out of my cab.
I really fucking hate the Eagles, man. Could you change it? And the guy kicks him out of the taxi. I don't think anybody has ever felt that strongly about the Eagles ever.
Don Henley for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Wait. He finally gets home. Eventually gets home. He opens the door. He walks in, and bam! He trips over the piece of board that he nailed.
Such a good call. Such a good payoff. He just fucking trips.
This whole movie is Chekhov's gun.
Yeah. And then Maud's there.
Maud's there, and she goes, "Oh, love me," and then they have sex.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And she's sitting there like holding her legs in an upright fetal position.
What's crazy about so they've had coitus. What is that? No, anyway. and she starts explaining even more shit to him.
Yeah.
Like she's like the only person that provides any kind of information
That's
towards
true.
what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. She tells him a little bit more.
While she's having the normal conversation of explaining everything, she's holding herself upright with her hands across her legs.
Yeah, she's like doing all of these fucking yoga positions. It's like, what are you doing that for?
The dude is also telling her a little bit of his backstory.
Right.
He was part of the Seattle 7. I didn't look up what that actually was. He was in the music business, and she goes, "Oh, yeah, Roy from Metallica." Oh,
Yeah.
they're fucking assholes.
And then she finally tells him why she's holding the position she's holding.
He was like, "Oh, are you doing yoga?" He's like, "No, it helps with conception." And he's drinking the White Russian. He spits it out. She goes, "Yeah, why do you think that I had the doctor come and look at you? Like, I wanted somebody. I want a kid, but I don't want anybody."
I don't want a partner.
I don't want a partner. I don't
Much
want
less someone that isn't going to care about the kid.
Yeah, I want somebody who isn't going to give a shit about the kid, and who I'm not going to see on a daily basis.
I'm not going to see on a daily basis. Fucking.
So he was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds good."
And I think this is when he starts like it's like the beautiful mind. All the pieces of the puzzle is like going together, and he has this like
he gets. I can't remember exactly what Maud gives him as a. I think this is where this is where she tells him that he's
that the Big Lebowski is actually
the Big Lebowski is broke, has no money, and basically he puts it together. Oh, he stole this money,
right?
Then the dude goes outside and he sees the blue beetle again.
Right.
He calls Walter to have him pick him up.
Yeah.
And he's like, Walter's like, I can't.
It's Ur Shabbat.
It's Ur Shabbat.
It's Ur Shabbat. Yeah.
I'm
not even supposed to pick up this phone unless it's an emergency.
Unless it's life or death.
He's like, it is an emergency.
Yeah.
Pick me the fuck up.
Pick me the fuck up or I'm out the bowling league. And now he's coming along. It's great.
So he goes outside and he meets another side character who is John Polito, who is another Coen Brothers kind of regular, really good in Miller's Crossing, like top notch in Miller's Crossing. So John Polito is a private eye, and he tells him, "Yeah, I've been following you around because I was Bunny Lebowski. Her real name is this, and she's from Minnesota,
and she's underage.
Yeah, so she ran off, and I'm trying to get her back.
Her parents want her.
Her parents want her back. In fact, here's the picture of. They just show this barren ass farm. Yeah, I was told to show her this so it'll make her homesick.
Yeah.
Maybe we can change information.
Yeah, and he was like, "Yeah, the way you've been playing the sides against each other and doing all this stuff, man, you're really good. We should share notes and shit." The guy's like, "Oh yeah, great." Yeah, dude's like, "Oh yeah, definitely been doing that."
Thank God Walter showed up.
Walter shows up in his van and they haul ass.
Yeah. Walter shows up. So this is where we get the Minnesota thing. A lot of stuff with the Coens go back to Minnesota. So they drive to the Big Lebowski's mansion. A car. Oh, we in the further back in the movie, we as I think it's when he gets kicked out of the.
He gets kicked out of the taxi.
When he gets kicked out of the taxi, we see Bunny drive by in a convertible, and she is missing a toe.
No,
she's not.
She has all of her toes.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we cut to the IHOP.
Then we cut to the IHOP where the nihilists and one of their girlfriends presumably are ordering lingonberry pancakes. They're all ordering them.
Yeah.
And then we
pan down to the girlfriend, and she is missing a toe.
She's missing her pinky toe.
She's missing her pinky toe.
And her toes are painted green.
Yeah, her toes are painted green. So anyway, back to this. We get to the mansion. There's a convertible car crashed into the fucking fucking fountain, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah,
playing Elvis.
She
was playing Elvis.
Viva
Las Vegas.
Yeah. And then they go inside and
Bunny's undressing.
Bunny's outside. Bunny, you can see her through the window, and she's like running towards and she's undressing, so she's completely out of it.
Brant is picking up her clothes.
Brant is picking up her clothes. Is like, "Hey, this is not a good time."
Yeah. Turns out she went to Palm Springs and didn't tell anyone.
She went to Palm Springs and didn't tell anybody. So this is the perfect
confrontation.
deconstruction of the noir where there wasn't even really a mystery.
Yeah, we're basically like Jeff Bridges, the dude is like there was never any money in the briefcase.
Yeah, they confront the Big Lebowski and they're like, yeah, there was no money because you're broke. So
you wanted her to stay kidnapped.
You wanted her to stay kidnapped, so you filled the briefcase up with telephone books.
Blamed on the one guy,
and you found a patsy and blamed on the one guy who you would think, oh, he definitely would steal the money. He calls him a human paraquat. For some reason, the funniest fucking thing.
Then we get Walter.
Oh, Walter.
Well, yeah, because he offended Walter, and I don't know if you've noticed throughout this movie, don't offend Walter Sobchak.
Yeah. I bet he's not even
paralyzed. And it's like, you stay away from me.
This is the first time we see the Big Lebowski crack.
Yeah.
Because it's a gigantic man coming towards
I've seen
him.
enough spinals in my day.
I've seen enough
spinals in my day.
And he picks him up and just drops him
on the floor.
And falls face down on the floor.
When he said that, my mind flashed to Mike Tyson.
Spinal.
And after a fight, he's like, he tried to hurt me. He hurt me in my spinal, and I can't. I know that has nothing to do with this movie, but every time I hear that word, I oh my god!
They kind of just leave with him on the floor.
Yeah, he cries in a heap.
He picks him up. It's like, yeah, I'll drop you, and he drops him away from the chair, and he falls flat.
Yeah, and just starts sobbing.
Yeah.
Like, for the first time this man has been in the movie, he has been brought very low.
But hey, he's a real man because real men cry.
We're real men also cry.
Right.
And then they pick him up off the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and then they go bowling.
Then they go bowling.
Fuck
it, let's go bowling. Then we see Donnie. He the first time of the movie, he does not roll a strike. He gets 9 out of 10 pins. And he looks very confused, and this is a bad omen for Donnie. So they're really they're just like, oh man, they're just kind of explaining about how things have gone, and they're like, oh, what about the nihilists? Oh, we have nothing to fear from them. They don't believe in anything. I don't care. Walter's very dismissive of them, and they go outside,
and the car's on fire.
And
real quick. They have a quick encounter with Jesus.
Yeah,
they do.
Jesus tells them, "What the fuck? Where the fuck is this bullshit? Where you're
what's this Shabbat?
where you're changing it? I was gonna fuck you on Sunday, but now I'm gonna fuck you on a Wednesday."
Yeah. And then that's the last we see of Jesus.
And remember, he is a pederast.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah, so they go outside. The car has finally died after all of this happened.
The car's on fucking fire.
It is on fire. The
nihilists.
The nihilists.
They did it. They killed my fucking car.
Yeah.
The nihilists are standing there with a boombox playing house music.
They're holding the
fucking
tank.
John Cusack say anything was the first thing that popped into my head. Hold the fucking boombox.
They're holding the tank of gasoline.
Peter Stormare has a saber on his fucking side. Then they go, "Where's the money, Lebowski?" It was like, there is no money.
There never was money.
There never was any
and
money.
he explains the entire plot of the movie.
Yeah, he's like, you never kidnapped the girl.
Well, we take the money. There was no money.
We'll take everything you got on you.
And we'll call it even.
My girlfriend committed to this role.
She lost a toe.
And Donnie and the dude are like, yeah, sure. And they get their money. And Donnie's like, I got $18.
Yeah.
And the dude's like, I got $4.50.
No, I got 4, almost 5.
Walter's like, fuck this.
It's like, no.
What's mine is mine.
What's mine is mine. These people don't believe in anything. We have nothing to fear from them.
And then that's when Peter Stormare picks up I've called him Stormare. He has a last name that's proper, and I'll figure it out one day. He fucking draws the goddamn saber like he's a cavalry charge.
Yeah.
And then Walter just like reels back and then just hucks his bowling ball.
And obliterates Flea.
Flea is out of the fight. He is on the ground. Making the funniest fucking face, gasping for air.
If you like Red Hot Chili Peppers, you love that scene. If you hate Red Hot Chili Peppers, you love that scene. Two groups brought together, A and not A.
Walter starts fighting Peter Stormare.
The guy with the boombox.
and
Fight is a fucking strong
Yeah.
word. He knocks the sword immediately out of his hand and begins chewing the motherfucker's
yeah,
ear
he
off.
rips his ear off.
Donnie starts getting into the fray a little
Donnie
bit.
gets in the fray a little bit. The
other guy,
the other
he's just
weird
like
guy,
kicking like very frailly at the
yeah,
dude.
the dude is kind of swinging his bowling ball.
Well, no, first like, here's the $4. Just take
Yeah.
the money. Just take the money. And then Walter takes care of that motherfucker.
Yeah,
he
he beats
grabs the
the
boombox and then just smacks the shit out
Yeah,
of him.
and then Walter goes, "Oh, we got a man down," and we see Donnie on the ground clutching his chest, and he's like, "Oh shit, he's hit, he's shot." And he's like, "No, there was,
he's having a heart attack.
having a heart
He
attack.
literally walked into the fight and then had a heart attack.
yeah." He walked in the fight and had a heart
Immediately.
attack. Here's the bad omen happening.
That's one of my favorite shots in the movie because
It's a really good one.
Dude goes into the bowling alley to basically to call for help.
Yeah.
Everything goes dark except for the stars that
Yeah.
are on the side of the bowling alley. I just the way the shot was composed, the way it's just dark like
Yeah.
that, fucking great. And then the next scene happens at a funeral home.
Yeah,
at
we go to
mortuary.
Donnie is told to shut the fuck up the whole movie
Yeah.
and just dies.
yeah, and then dies.
Is the dude and Walter just sitting at a desk waiting for someone to arrive?
Yeah, the dude is in a yellow bowling shirt
Yeah.
with sunglasses on.
Right.
Walter is what I imagine is just tactical fishing gear.
Yeah, that's basically the best way
Pretty
to
much.
explain
But also
Walter.
sunglasses.
The guy comes in and hands them, "Hey, this is how much it'll be. We were able to cremate the remains." And Walter looks in and goes,
Walter has to take his sunglasses off and go, $180.
"What is this?
This is our cheapest receptacle.
this is our most affordable
Most
receptacle.
affordable receptacle, yeah.
$180. Like we can want. I'm not paying that.
Yeah.
And
Like
the dude's
we're scattering
plan
his
on
ashes.
we're scattering his ashes. We're not paying for that.
Yes, sir. That's the cheapest receptacle.
You have
have
to bring
to-
him out here in something,
still
and
have
that
to
is
transport to the
there's our
ashes.
most affordable receptacle. And he was like, "What did he say? Is there? He said some store.
It's a grocery store.
Yeah, is there a grocery? Basically, is there a grocery store?
They
And he's
go
like,
across the
hard cut.
hard cut
To a beach, and they've got his ashes in a
Folgers
Folgers
cliff,
coffee
not
can.
just not a beach, a cliff. They go to
A
a
cliff.
cliff and they have him in a Folgers can.
Yeah.
Walter's giving some eulogy. with-
Walter gives a eulogy that,
really
that runs
half-hearted-
around to that eventually
it's not
gets
that it's
to
half-hearted.
He's trying.
He's giving his own eulogy
Right.
for himself,
Right.
Yeah.
for Donnie.
Right.
because he really doesn't know much about Donnie.
Yeah.
Man, he really loves surfing.
Yeah.
And then it eventually comes back to the men in Nam. And the whole time the dude is just like, "What the fuck?"
And he fought for his life, just as Donnie did.
Yeah, to the guys in Quezon and Da Nang and Hill 603.
Yeah.
He opens the can.
Oh, no.
And the fucking
And the wind is blowing towards
the
them.
upwind.
So it blows all over them, but particularly the dude who's
dude
covered in
90%
Donnie's ashes.
So
covered in
after
Donnie.
they do it, Walter goes, "Oh shit!" and he starts wiping it off his hand, and he looks at the dude, and the dude is just
covered in
covered.
fucking ashes.
He goes and brushes
Oh
his
shit!
beard.
The dude's like, "What the fuck,
What
man?
the fuck? What
was
the fuck?
that?"
What the fuck?
And basically, it looks like you see like their whole friendship end for about a minute.
Yeah.
Because
That's a recurring thing
Because
throughout all
the
that.
dude's
Yeah.
like, "Fuck you, Walter. You're a fuck up. You fucked everything up. Everything's been fucked ever since we've been hanging out.
And
Yeah.
And then Walter goes in for a hug.
And then they
Let's
hug.
go bowling."
Yeah,
Let's go bowling.
So we go back. They're bowling. The dude comes up to the bar again.
He gets another Caucasian.
yeah.
No, he does not.
He gets beers.
Oh,
Gets
yeah.
He gets beers this time.
He's
and
scaling it down.
And the stranger is there, and they talk a little bit, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm really glad to. Of course, I'll be here for the semis." And
Right.
the dude goes, "Yeah, the life shit, but the dude abides."
The dude
The
abides.
dude abides. And you notice that he wasn't swearing and he was not drinking a White Russian. He was drinking a beer.
Yeah.
So he learned something on his hero's journey. I have a feeling that Sam Elliott's character is like a guardian angel. It kind
Yeah,
of feels
something like
that
that.
way. And so kind of guiding him a little.
And if you're going to start a movie with Sam Elliott monologuing, you might as well end it with
Yeah,
Sam
right.
Elliott monologuing.
pretty glad there's going to be a little Lebowski in the future.
I think there could always be a little dude in everybody, or whatever he said, something like that.
Yeah, the dude abides. I don't know about you, but I take comfort in that.
Yeah.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the Big Lebowski. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Don't worry, the title's gonna have spoilers.
Yeah,
all
if you would
over
have,
it, so
if you hadn't listened to us review a movie before, you should know
We
that.
typically, don't always go page for page.
Yeah.
But depending on the movie, we have before.
This is a first for us. I think this is a combination of had fun and good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie that's in my brain. But as I was watching, I was like, man, I'm still like laughing at parts of this and everything.
Well, I'm enjoying the movie for the movie, not for the it's a friends movie, a friend movie to watch with friends or like stuff like that.
Yeah,
right.
I was gonna correct you and say The Barbarians feels in that category, but that's not a good movie.
It's
That's
not-
that's just
a
funny.
fun movie.
I will
that's just a
say
fun
that
movie.
it's one of the few Barbarians is one of the few examples of where it's a movie you enjoy ironically, but it's just bad enough to enjoy by yourself.
Yeah.
It's not like, Jupiter Ascending. You need friends with that one. Jesus.
I would argue that you also need friends for the Barbarian. But so Ethan, this was a movie on your Ethan must watch list.
This was on the Ethan must watch.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be honest. I
literally thought I gotta be honest. This movie's kind of shit.
I wasn't a big fan of it. Like I watched it. Hang on. I see the judgmental faces. Hang on. I couldn't really get into it after I watched it. I watched it like twice. But like us like talking about it and like going through some of the things I possibly missed my first two times watching it, I could dig it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were coming in here wanting to shit on this, and we loved the movie so much.
I wasn't gonna shit on it. I was just gonna say.
I think he wasn't in love with it. I think that
I will be honest, like the Coen brothers comedies, you gotta be you gotta be expecting if you're just expecting like a run of the mill comedy, you're not gonna get that with them.
And that's kind of how I thought it was. Because when we did the movies Ethan must watch, that was what you submitted as like your comedy, and I was expecting, okay, so it's just gonna be a run of the mill comedy.
Yeah, and it's definitely not.
It's not nothing the Coen brothers do.
So that's kind of threw me out of the loop. But then us talking about it in depth and just like reliving the movie a little bit, I can definitely see myself watching
some films you have to watch more than once for one, and also
I will be honest, like the Big Lebowski, I had to watch a couple of times.
You have to because you have to absorb it really, like over a couple of watches, like even if it takes a while. It had been well over a decade since I had watched it, and it took me a minute to get back into it because it as far as movies go, if it's not Coen brothers, it is kind of like a movie where kind of nothing really happens. Yeah,
and a lot of, I will be honest, a lot of Coen brothers movies, like it's kind of difficult to the first time you watch it to be like, oh my god. Very rarely has that happened to me. Like I've had to watch Coen brothers movies several times and then like, oh my god, I fucking love this movie. It's so fucking good.
This movie specifically for the Coen brothers, there is with the exception of the dude maybe being a little bit more elevated as a person as a whole, there is no actual like resolve for anything because there was actually nothing in place for there to be anything wrong.
Yeah, it sets up the expectation of there's a big reveal and all this stuff, and it subverts that because it's kind of a deconstruction of the neo-noir where nothing really happened. Like the dude is in the exact same spot that he was before.
Everything was a red herring.
Yeah, everything was a red herring. Nothing really mattered, and that kind of like there is a lot of. It's funny that they have the nihilist and go, oh, the nihilist, we believe in nothing, and they kind of shit on that. But the Coen brothers do have kind of a nihilistic outlook a lot of times, and this kind of showed it because like nothing really mattered in the movie. Like everything was just bullshit.
The movie is really just an appreciation of this, for lack of a better term, it's this weird kind of like
non-fatal Odysseus. Like he's got to go like to all of these separate things that kind of happen to him. It's more about what happens to the main character rather as how the main character interacts with everything that's going on around him. First time I saw this, I loved it. Again, a lot of it has to do with there's that real backing of Americana in there.
Yeah.
Like this is a slightly askew funhouse mirror of California for me. And that's the way I kind of look at it. It kind of grips me there. Like I said, any kind of Americana movie, there's always going to be like a 1 foot from me already in there.
Yeah.
And when you have people with the just clever writing of the Coen brothers, the sharp direction, some of the best actors doing some of their best work in a film that kind of at first got neglected,
right,
and then kind of picked up its own identity later. Not even later, not even years later. Like within the same year, people started to kind of see,
video market,
because I think a lot of it may be again like if you go in thinking this is a comedy.
Right.
It's not a comedy that like joke punchline. It's something that you just build up through.
Yeah.
A lot of it also is the amount of Chekhov's guns that keep getting paid off over and over again.
Right.
And in ways that are just a little obscure, a little it's like, oh, okay, it would be funny, do all of this work to like blockade your door, and then someone just opens it. And
and it was also during a time period where, like earlier in the decade, starting with like specifically Tarantino, you had a lot of like really good ensemble cast, intelligent movies, with great dialogue and great character work and great story and plot. You know. I put this up with as far as the decade goes, not Coen brothers, but of course Tarantino, like Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs, kind of fits into the ensemble cast, you know.
Yeah, it definitely does there. And also, again, like I said, if you're going thinking this is a comedy, it's more than a comedy. Right. If you're going in thinking this is a noir, if you were told this was a noir,
it's more than a noir.
It is, but it's also this is a noir, but with all of the pretense, like all of its pretenses cut out, and kind of just almost a way of Arthur Miller said it, and I can't remember the line, but it's something about a generation or a style can said to be end when all of its conceptions turn out to be wrong. And this is one of those things where it's like, everything you think that is a mystery about this isn't. It just isn't. Like there's simpler solutions there, but the movie is so deep, you're expecting it to be deep on the plot end, and it's not. It's more depth about the characters, and how they relate to what's going on around them.
Definitely character work, good character work there, great acting.
Yeah. I would say if you like this one, Fargo is probably the other one that you want to check out.
Fargo's really good. A little bit more straightforward of
one
a crime.
I think is one that I think is underrated, and also has this kind of this deals with more of the less of the seedy side, well, kind of the seedy side of Hollywood. This deals more with like the motion pictures, but Hail Caesar with George Clooney and Josh Brolin. That one I think is underrated.
Okay.
For the longest I'd heard that it wasn't good, but then I watched it and I was like, no, this is actually pretty good.
I would say go all the way back to where they began. Go with Blood Simple. If you wanted like an actual like crime story kind of deal.
Yeah. If you're wanting more of the drama stuff, there's Blood Simple, No Country for Old Men. If you're wanting like a character study inside Llewyn Davis, that one's very depressing. So don't watch that one if you're in a mood.
Also, No Country for Old Men's also kind of straightforward too. Like,
and that one's a little bit different because it was adapted from a movie, from a book. I mean, so they were running with that mostly. But it also plays with perception as well. Like a lot of things that you think are supposed to happen don't happen.
Right.
And it can be that one can be very underwhelming to people because a lot of your expectations get kind of fucked with.
I'll throw this one out, and I might get some feedback. But if you like a mystery that has a twist on it that kind of takes the conventions to the wayside, Gone Girl. I thought Gone Girl did. It did a good job with that.
That's good.
That one
I will say with the Coen brothers, if you want just kind of a more straightforward movie with just like good dialogue and it's like a crime story, Miller's Crossing is definitely that. It's a very straightforward story, but plays with a little stuff here and there. Some excellent character work. and really good dialogue. Like the dialogue is like very. It takes place in like the 1920s or 1930s, and I think 30s. No, 20s because it's Prohibition, and it really just the dialogue just sings. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other like mystery stuff that plays with your perceptions. I can't think of. Gone Girl's a really good one. That one definitely does.
I would go with Knives Out. I would also say Knives Out, especially for something that's a little bit more lighthearted.
Yeah,
Knives Out. I think
another movie that like turned people off because I think just because sometimes like the trailer will either misrepresent a movie or there's no way to sell the movie with the trailer. And it's also noir. In fact, it uses a lot of like language from 40s noir. And that's, I think, why it threw a lot of people off, and that it's Brick.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that one when you started talking about it. Yeah, that's Knives Out and Brick were Rian Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he knows his shit when it comes to like mysteries and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm kind of taking over here, Jay. But
honestly, it all started out with us just talking about something. So just like because you know what? Well, so last two times I've hosted, Brady has led off, and Brady, do it again. Why not?
The Whiskey and Wrestling.
Soon to be just whiskey.
Soon to be probably just whiskey
and whiskey.
Or whenever they find another W sports adjacent thing.
Whiskey and Whataburger.
I mean, there was one good AEW. Well, there was two because we had a Tony Storm and
we had a good segment,
and we had the Hangman and Swerve segment. Those were good. Watch those on YouTube.
The rest of the matches were either full of botches or just bad matches.
The rest was fine.
Throw a bicycle at somebody.
Yeah. Anyway, besides all that, Jason Holder, Michael Hill, they have a podcast where they talk about wrestling. Sometimes we'll talk about older stuff. Sometimes, most of the time, they're talking about the more recent stuff, and they'll pair that with a whiskey, with a libation, and they will talk about that as well. So if that sounds interesting, check them out wherever podcasts are harvested, grown. I don't know what I'm going with this time. It's late, so I'm having a hard time.
Vapor distilled. Where podcasts are vapor distilled.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Right, moving forward, Jody, give us somebody.
So Fearology hopefully shall be returning soon.
Oh.
I'm hopefully getting a monitor for my computer in the next day or two. So I will be able to start recording and uploading new episodes soon. Some of the episodes in the works that you can look forward to if you want to listen to the show, which is on Spotify, which will be revisit to a theme I did early on when I did my Frankenstein Inception. I'm going to be doing Werewolf Inception. I'm going to be talking about the history of werewolves in films. Ooh. So that's going to be one out.
It's one of my favorite monsters.
I do enjoy the werewolves.
The Wolfman. I want to hear your opinions on The Howling 2. The European title, Sturbo Werewolf Bitch.
We will definitely be talking about the marsupial wolves in 3.
I will say watch The Wolf of Snow Hollow.
I haven't seen that.
That's good.
But I need to watch the one that I've missed a few times over the years that I need to go and watch is Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Of the Wolf, yeah. I was about to recommend that one, yeah.
I've seen pretty much everything else. I've seen Dog Soldiers. I've seen Company of Wolves. I've seen the obvious ones.
Brotherhood of the Wolf is less about werewolves. But you might. It's a good movie, so I would say watch it.
I'll check it out.
It's definitely about wolf terror.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
E-Man.
That's me.
Yeah.
Silence Your Cell Phones is a show hosted by
Sure.
Kevin Shelton and Jared Hubbard.
There you go.
They talk about movies you should and should not be watching. They do really good things. They go into deep dives. They have a weekly show. They also have live shows on YouTube whenever they feel like it. Give them a listen to. Silence Your Cell Phones.
The Completed Podcast. Christopher Vega, Brandon Scott Tanner, and Brandon Smith. going through the news and views in the world of Magic the Gathering, whether it's from tournament goings on, the newest sets coming out and how you should strategize for them, and just road stories from their times on the road playing Magic the Gathering. Again, that is the completed podcast, Team Metamorph, the competitive team. Catch them on all available podcasting avenues. I'm also going to take MacNarb Gaming in Goshen, Mississippi. Tuesdays is Pokemon, Wednesdays is RPGs, Thursdays is Board Game Night, Fridays is Magic, Saturdays is Magic and Pokemon, Sundays is mostly just a grab bag of whatever anybody's doing over there.
Speaking of grab bags, we have grab bags right now. You can get $75 worth of...
No, you can get $200 worth of MSRP for $75. If they were giving away $75 for $200, they're really making
That's
bank
the board
there.
games.
That's the board game one, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The role-playing...
The role-playing one is
150
for 50.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, but yeah, no mystery boxes. Come find some stuff. They actually put some good stuff in the one that Brendan got. He got I can't remember the supplement, but he's looking to run that for his next D&D campaign. So it's pretty good.
They also got a whole bunch of new board games and stuff like that.
Yeah. What's the new one from Stonemaier? Apiary?
Apiary, yeah.
That one looks pretty cool. And yeah. So yeah, come by, check it out. They have a little bit of everything and a whole lot of people who actually know what they're talking about it. Just come around and ask around. If I'm there, I will chew your ear off about Twilight Imperium. They sold the shop's copy of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and we talked about it for like 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It was great. Which is about 1/100th of the time it takes to play Twilight Imperium.
Yeah. That's true.
We'll figure out what we're doing next time, folks. And when we do, we will let you know because it'll be up the next time. How about that? So once more around the table, my name is James McCarthy.
My name's Ethan Skinner.
I've been Jody Kite.
I'm Brady Davis.
We were travelers on the Omnibus. Thank you for stopping by and enjoying the ride.